I'm finna do it. I'm gonna do it.
You better do it.
Welcome everybody to the 2-4 podcast. I'm your host Christian. This is my brother from another mother, the Redbeard himself.
What's up, everybody?
He goes by Ken.
Ian.
If you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about before I did the introduction, I'm talking about me be on top of the thing that I'm always slacking on, the thing that I'm always lacking on, the thing that I'm pretty sure everybody's like, this is the worst running joke ever. This dude never tells people to like and subscribe and comment to start the podcast. And so, yeah, if you guys could do me a favor and do those things and hit the notification bell and make sure to hit all so that way you guys are always able to stay tuned to everything that we do. Today we're going to be reacting to mostly NFL and some NBA. There was a lot of cool, unexpected things, and if you're someone like me, there was some not so cool things that you didn't expect to be that bad.
Yeah.
And whereas this guy was like not expecting it to be that good.
I was not expecting it to be that good.
So
Trust me.
So we'll start with the early game, not the Broncos game. Okay,
The early game.
we will talk about that game later. They don't matter right now. There's two teams that matter, and that's the Raiders and the Niners. But we'll go with the Raiders first because they played first. So.
Yeah. Rip it off like a Band-Aid.
I'm just gonna rip it off. I'm not like Ken who wants the bad news last. He wants the good news first. I'm the other way around. I need to feel better. so they went out to New Orleans. They, as everybody knows right now, the Raiders took a fat L. I mean, they couldn't get past the 50-yard line. Dude, it was just so terrible. I mentioned last time that I had a worry that it was going to be a morning game with them traveling to a different time zone. And how that tends to screw people up, especially West Coast teams. And the Raiders have had a history of like sucking real hard. That's why I was kind of bummed out this wasn't like at least a 1 o'clock game, but the NFL decided 10. I know it wasn't 10 for them over there, but it's still an adjustment, you know. I'm pretty sure that there was some guys that were a little jet laggish. Man, dude. And then on top of that, Dennis Allen, he's a very good defensive mind. Like, this dude gives Tom Brady fits. What makes you think that Derek Carr could have overcome that? Okay, and then he tries to front and say, you know, my first head coaching job was so far in the past. It's water under the bridge. It's not like a wound. Man, BS. If you're a competitor, you hold on to everything. Of course. You take receipts, man. And but also, New Orleans is a great organization, man. They make sure they're like the Steelers, you know, like you know what you're getting with them. It's going to be a very well coached team. It doesn't matter who they have at any position. They're going to be well coached. They're going to play their butts off. Like, seriously, these guys will run through a wall for their coaches because their coaches like demand that much respect because of like the way they conduct themselves, how knowledgeable they seem, and all that kind of stuff. So they get the players' respect without even trying, really. And these guys, they showed it from the get-go that this was going to be a physical game. It was going to be sped up on the Raiders. Oh my gosh, bro.
They hit you
You
guys with that little bit of voodoo magic on you,
yeah,
and not to mention, it's hard to play in the Superdome. There,
that
it's
too,
hard.
man. That
It is
too.
hard to play. Yeah.
Like especially, anybody who's a fan of an NFC team, you know it big time more so than the AFC team knows it. Like
Hmm.
like the fans there go crazy. It is a home field advantage. Who cares that it's a dome and not like a open stadium? They don't need the wind to help them. They got the fans to help them. That's all they need. And
One of the craziest, most loudest, most faithful fan bases is the Saints.
mhm,
They show up and they show out, man, and it really gets teams. It was
Louisiana
just
loves their football team, and especially the Saints because hey, I'm old enough to know about the Hurricane Katrina situation. When I
Yep.
graduated high school, I actually volunteered to go out there and help with their situation when they got hit with that catastrophe of Hurricane Katrina. And so during their time of need, the Saints opened up their stadium to house people and help, protect them, feed them, all that kind of stuff. And so that relationship right there, like, got them even closer to the team.
Oh
And
yeah.
and so like these fans, it don't it dude, you could possibly see a scenario where maybe they don't have everybody uh in Saints jerseys in the stands and stuff, and you have maybe like 55 or 60% of the other team. That small percent, that the lesser percent, is still loud as heck. They
Oh
they sh-
yeah.
they will make it seem like it's not really a lopsided, ticket sale thing. They go out, man. Like I respect their organization so much. Um,
Yeah. I mean, you got to give it to over the years they've built this organization, and not the team that they have, but just the coaching is probably some of the best
yeah,
over the years, and you just got to give it up for them. I mean, they're still fighting in that division.
hmm
They're crawling their way back to the top, but man, they look like a good football team today.
they look like an amazing football team, man. The way they pressure Derek Carr like that, the way
The
they
defense
the
is getting back to where it used to be, you know,
yeah
when when they were winning, when they won a Super Bowl, and even the years after that,
yeah
competing in the NFC, trying to go deep in the playoffs. That defense is
like
there.
I think you had like a couple of guys get multiple sacks.
Yeah, yeah, there was quite a few.
Yeah, like there was like I think there was like two or three dudes that had two sacks apiece. Like that's
Hmm.
insane, man. And like you said, that coaching staff is just on top of their game, man. They like, and you could see it on whenever they panned over to the sideline. You could see the calmness, the poise that they have, and all that. Like they weren't sweating nothing. Whereas if you look on the Raiders coaching staff, they look like a deer in the headlights to me. Like they didn't really know what to do, what could be successful. I still say
It
that they didn't run enough. Like I don't care if you had a couple not go your way. It doesn't matter. Like you need to keep running because that opens things up. Even if it's not like
Yeah,
the type of yardage that we were used to for the first 5 games.
yeah.
Like you still got to keep on doing your thing. Who cares if Josh Jacobs doesn't get over 100 yards? Just keep that thing prevalent so that way you can
It's
confuse the
it's
defense.
it's the base of their offense, and you gotta think coming into this game, who do you got on the other side? You got Alvin Kamara, who's gonna
Hmm
run it. that's going to be, I mean, they did exactly what the Raiders should have done.
Yeah.
Running the ball sets up the pass, and Andy Dalton looked of Andy Dalton of old. He was doing really, really well.
Yeah,
And
he wasn't looking like Andy Dalton with the Cowboys. He was looking like Andy Dalton first
like
few
Andy
years in
Dalton was,
Cincinnati.
yes, yes. And adding their secret weapon, like I said last week, Taysom Hill, he can do a little bit of everything, and he helped them out big time in some plays.
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of just like where the Raiders went from last week. It doesn't even look like the same team from
Yeah,
last
dude.
week. And I believe it all starts with your run game, and
Mhm.
I felt like they started doing that, but they didn't see the success, so they kind of backed away. But I mean, even if you don't see the success right away, you still got to keep going for it. You still got to try. And it just
Dude,
didn't work out.
so I'm looking at time of possession. These guys
Hmm.
basically had it for 10 more minutes than you. And
Hmm.
like you didn't commit yourself to the run game. Like 38 yards is telling me that you didn't.
That's not even committing.
Yeah.
That's not even trying at that point.
Yeah, and so like I said, it doesn't matter if you only get a couple yards here and there. Like it adds up, and plus what it adds to is taking time away from the other team. And
Hmm.
these guys instead were getting so reluctant and just they were digging the bigger hole. The bigger the hole you dig for yourself, the more you're like committing to a passing game because you're trying to like catch back up in a hurry.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that shouldn't have never happened, man. You should have never went in to the second half being down 17-0. Like you should have gotten a field goal at some point. Get a
Yeah.
couple field goals. Like this might be one of those games where it's a low scoring game. You don't need to like
Hmm.
be in a shootout. Like sometimes it doesn't work that
Yeah.
way. Like I've seen good teams have low scoring games and they win with a low score. Like that happens from time to time, man. It's not the norm, but like you just gave people the blueprint of like how inept you can be.
Yeah. From what I saw and then breaking down the stats here, it just looked like an overall just a collapse on both sides of the ball. The line giving up 4 sacks. You know, the defense not. The pressure.
I was
I saw
walking and then
the
it's like,
pressure was there a few
speaking
times,
today.
but just
Want
the
to try it out?
secondary, they were getting thrown on and ran on. So it kind of was just got to a point where the balloon was deflated for these guys.
Yeah, my bad guys for the audio coming out. As you were talking, I was pulling up some stats, and you know
Oh,
how like
all good.
sometimes they play a little
Yeah.
video as like you're pulling up stats. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, you didn't hear it, but
yeah,
they heard it. So my bad guys. But yeah, dude, there's not really much that you could say. Really, all of my praise would have to go to the Saints. Like, you know, talking up Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill was unbelievable. I felt that the
he's
Raiders, I
yeah,
felt like that's what got him shook. Like,
yeah.
like you remember your guys' old backup quarterback who we said was Steve Montana.
Nick
Yeah,
Mullins, aka
yeah.
Steve Montana.
And
Yeah, yeah,
we had him. We had him, but we decided to trade him away. That looks
yeah,
retarded now, bruh. Like I'm sorry for
yeah,
using the R word, but guys, we should have kept him because sometimes your backup needs to, you know, give you a spark. I remember many times where you guys benched Jimmy G and this fool would go in, and it might only be for a game or two, but every time he went in, it he brought like a new life You know,
It brought that spark, you know, kind
he
of like that's
breathed
what you
new life
need, you
into him,
know.
man. Man, dude, like I was
Yeah.
missing him, but remember every time we saw him go out, we always like, he shook, he shook. We were talking about the
Nah,
other team's
man.
quarterback and all that.
They got
Taysom Hill
Sam
did it to
Darnold.
us.
That's what they.
Yeah, we said that too. Yeah, because that's where it started. It was when you guys played against Sam Darnold.
Sam
Uh,
Darnold,
I don't
and
know
they
if it
didn't
was
know what to do.
was it his rookie year or sophomore year?
Yeah, it was
It was one.
rookie year,
It was his rookie year. Okay,
his
so
first year playing. Yeah.
like I remember the other broski was getting annoyed with us because you and I agreed that something was gonna happen, that something was gonna
Something
start
was gonna
brewing,
happen, and
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 it
Nick
did.
Mullins showed out, and it got Sam Darnold shook. So that's what we say is you got Sam
Yeah.
Darnold.
Yep.
This man was sitting on the sidelines, bright eyes, just a blank face, like he didn't know what was going on. And that's what that saying comes from. If you guys don't know,
the the offense and the defense got Sam Darnold, bruh. Like
they were shook in their boots, man, and
Taysom
that's what it
Hill,
looked like.
Taysom Hill was the Steve Montana for his team, man. Like I'm telling you, every time I saw him out there, I had no idea what he was gonna do. Was he gonna pass it? Was
What
he
they
gonna
were gonna
run it?
do?
What was he gonna
Yeah,
do? Was he gonna receive it? That's the other thing. I mean,
yeah, he can catch it too.
yeah, I mean he only had one reception, but he was lining up more than once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And so this guy was pretty incredible to me. And then you combine that with Kamara, who can also do similar stuff, maybe just not the passing game thing, but like be a
hmm
receiver and running back. Like he's being a dual threat, and I think that's what New Orleans is like hanging their hat on, is having guys that can do more than one thing, because you never know when like maybe the run game is shut down, but then you're like, well, my running backs can also catch, or I
yeah,
have a guy in Taysom Hill who's like his position. When you look up his position, it'll say NA, because
yeah. He is. I'm quarterback, running
yeah,
back, wide receiver, tight end,
his
defensive back. Like he's just
his
like that.
resume will say football player.
Football player. That's what it said. He says I play football. That's all I do.
Yeah. um, but like yeah, Taysom,
Yeah.
you know, you like I was saying, Kamara could do all these different things. Taysom could do all these different things. They have other guys on the team who do different things as well, man. And man, dude, I really I really don't think there was like many bright spots for the Raiders. Um, I was pretty disappointed with Derek Carr. I know that I can't, with my disappointment, I can't just be like, uh, you know, he should have been able to like throw it away or something. It's more so like he should have been able to roll out. He should
Yeah.
have rolled out on different plays, but instead got deeper into the pocket. And I think he doesn't understand how effective he is when he does roll out, because defenders know things that maybe the casual fan don't know, which is Derek Carr can actually move.
Yeah.
He's more athletic than what anybody realizes. He's not like, you know, on Lamar's status. He's not on I don't know, uh Justin Fields status, but he's like
Yeah. He
he's
can get
mobile
out there if
enough.
he needs.
He's mobile
Yeah.
enough. Like you think of like Andrew Luck. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
plenty of people who can remember Andrew Luck's game and how mobile he was. It's about the same as far as like the foot speed, but I would say Derek Carr is actually more athletic. I've seen him jump over dudes, so
Yeah.
that's something I never seen Andrew Luck do. But like
Yeah.
defenders respect Carr's ability to you know get some yards, get a first down with his legs, and I didn't see like any of that, man.
I haven't.
He had one time for -1.
Yeah. Do you think that's a mental thing for him? Do you think he's like a little scared to do it?
See, I don't know if he's scared to do
Just
it.
of recent injuries, like I don't, or do you think this he just doesn't think to do it?
I think
What do you
he's
think?
I think he's trying to trust in the play calling and trust in
Yeah,
his teammates and trust in maybe the blocking to give him just enough time so that way he doesn't have to exert that kind of energy. But I
yeah,
also think that he's kind of like out of practice with it. Like it's not in his mentality to like think run at like any point really. You know,
yeah,
like you think of like Lamar, he's probably thinking run first. Whether he's running for actual yards or just rolling out, he's thinking
yeah,
I gotta. I'm better off passing the ball on the move than I am being in the pocket. Especially if I
yeah,
start sensing them collapsing a little bit. So
yeah,
I think Derek needs to think about this because last week's win, I mean, he was doing a good job. I think even the week before that, he was doing a good job with just being a little bit more active with his feet. And
just
that's
even that little like with the pockets collapsed, even that little just step out and roll out keeps the play alive. It shows that your receivers will see that and they can make an adjustment. You know,
yeah,
like even that just kind of keeps it alive for a minute or for a couple seconds.
and you know what? Him doing that would give his guys an opportunity to create something that wasn't there initially because
Yeah,
like the secondary was doing a good job of covering people. I mean the Saints were really only ever rushing four people and not like doing any kind of blitz packages. So everybody
yeah,
was being covered. But when you give guys extra time, you're giving them opportunity to either finally get open or you can do something that Derek Carr is actually very good at where he recognizes that some defender out there is probably going to do pass interference. And so he
yeah,
always throws it to the right guy in those moments, knowing that there's going to be pass interference. So him not having that time, which he needed to create for himself, because every week I say it over and over again, this is not a good pass blocking team. This is a run blocking team. Um, they they have to have given this fool enough information by now to know that he is not safe. If there's a good team when it comes to their physicality in the trenches, then you got to know that you got to do more than just stand there in the pocket. You can't you just can't be in there. That pocket doesn't exist for you. You have to
yeah,
like think the floor is lava in that spot that you're in and get out of there. Do something. But like you just over here just taking a beating. That's not the way to go,
yeah.
man.
No, definitely not.
Um, is there anything else that stood out to you about that game?
Not much, man. Not much. Like you said, there's no not real any bright points to speak about. Uh, I mean, your best receiver was Mac Hollins. Like, you know, it's like Devon. I mean, Devontae was probably covered pretty well,
Yeah.
but I mean, it he also was probably dealing with a little bit of that flu. Kind of
Yeah.
residue. You know how you feel after you kind of getting over it. You still kind of feel not 100%. So that could be something that impacted him. Um,
I
it
will
was.
say this. I will say this about because you bringing up Devontae. I think that was a BS call or no call that the refs had when there was obvious taunting happening to him. Like
Hmm.
the league's
Yeah,
been cracking down on that kind of stuff, and how you not gonna like call that for the best receiver in football? Like
Yeah.
that doesn't make no sense. And I hope that Carr looks at the stat sheet and sees that he only had one reception for 3 yards. And I get that like you targeted him as much as you could, but kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. You needing to get out of the pocket, create more time for your receivers, because
Yeah.
I guarantee you Devontae would have found a way to bamboozle the rookie that was guarding him. And I
Yeah,
do think
you
I
have
do
athletic receivers that can do that, you
yeah,
know?
and
So
I
it
do I do like that rookie that was guarding him, but like you brought up the
Mhm.
flu, and how that probably affected him,
Yeah.
and Derek Carr just he didn't have the time to allow him to put the juice on
Yeah.
nobody. Like that pocket was collapsing fast, like every play. It felt like.
Yeah, it also didn't help that, Hunter Renfro hasn't looked like Hunter Renfro in the past. I
Yeah,
don't know if he's dealing with something, because I know he's had injury. He had a concussion like a few weeks ago. I don't know if that's lingering or anything else. I mean, and then you're also missing out on Darren Waller again for another week. This he didn't play, so it's like you have talented receivers. It all falls on Derek Carr making the decisions to keep plays alive and him having that confidence. I don't know if it's a coaching thing, if they want to stick to being a pocket passing team, but it's not working. And if you look at last week, you were run heavy, and look what happened. You guys had a really good game,
hmm
So
the other thing was like, man, dude, we committed a lot of penalties as well.
hmm
So not only were we getting beat by the Saints, but we were beating ourselves as well. And that's never a good look. And I'm about to check out the tackles for losses. Yeah, so we only had 2 tackles for losses, and they had 7. And so I mean that tells you the type of like pressure that they had all game long. And
yeah,
they had a lot of QB hits. They had 9, and I don't know, dog, man. There's really nothing that you can say was positive about this game. Even there was even I know Mac Hollins had the most yards for the team, but like I can't even say that he played that well because I saw him
yeah,
I saw him really mess up a catch that was catchable. I mean, it was up high on him, but it was still catchable. He still could have got it and came down with it. I think. I would have to like look back at the replay of that, but as of right now, I feel like he could have caught it. But
yeah.
I don't know, man. This team, n- I don't want to hit the panic button, but you're not doing
Definitely.
your
I mean, you
you're
shouldn't. Yeah, I mean,
you're not doing yourself any favors, man. You
yeah,
like, and it annoyed me too on the broadcast. They brought up how Josh McDaniels kind of admitted to the first few games he was doing what Bill Belichick would do, which is use those first few games as almost a preseason and experimenting with things, and then that just kind of it just rubs you off the wrong way because, well, you just dug
yeah,
us into a deep hole. Like you still
yeah. That's
expected
what you
us to
use
win. Like what
preseason
the heck?
for, though.
Yeah. Like
That's what preseason's for. You into regulars. Those are games that count. You know.
or like do a smaller sample size. Do half of those games, not
Yeah,
like not 4 games. Do or if you had to have 4 games, how about you only do it for like a half?
yeah,
Do first half is an experiment. Second half you buckle down and you try to pull out a dub. maybe do it that way. But I don't know, man. That rubbed me the wrong way. It makes me really start to question what the heck went into hiring Josh McDaniels,
Yeah.
because
Uh,
I don't like the lack of discipline that this team has had
yeah.
either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's not just on the players too. It falls on coaching.
Yeah.
Like it falls a lot of it on them too, and not having that discipline and not having a solid game plan, honestly, it it's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
So
So if I go ahead.
what do you see, or what do you think going forward you would like? I mean, we already know what you like to see, but realistically, what do you think going forward they will work on or need to work on, like, immediately,
Immediately, well, they
in
need to.
order to try to give you some turnaround on this?
So more commitment to the run, regardless of how it looks. You just commit to that thing because it it helps out with disguising your offense. Like, there was no disguising for the um
Yeah.
this morning. There just was none of that. It was obvious that we were passing more than we were running, and it's just overall a bad look, man. Like, it's just not good. And I want to see Derek Carr use his legs. He needs to help out with making it hard on the defense as well. So whether it means that he's picking up whatever yards he can get, or he's buying time for a receiver. And
Yeah.
I think he needs to do a better job of, like, um getting on the same wavelength as Hunter Renfro and Devontae, and because that's embarrassing, bro. That both guys like produced absolutely nothing for you, but it's also, you can't blame them because the person throwing to him is being taken down really fast.
Hmm.
He has to ground the ball. There's a lot of times where you gotta like just ground that shit. Uh, but it was frustrating, man. Like, I'm telling you, I was cussing at the screen. I
Oh,
was
I
cuss.
I understand. Yeah.
I was cussing the same thing over and over. I was like, roll the F out, man. What is wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
do you not see that you had like an opening on your left or your right to like roll out, and the other like the opposite side is being like, it's coming in on you, and then you
Yeah.
decide to like, oh, you know what? I'm a scoot in closer instead of like, I'm gonna get away from that pressure. He's like, I'm gonna go into the pressure. Like,
Yeah.
that needs to like be brought up in the meeting room, man. That when they do their thing, they need to they need to address that, because I will say that one's on Carr. The O line, you yes, they have blame. They have a big time blame, but it's like you knew what was going into it. So like, you got to kind of like disregard that for what you can control. So you can't
Yeah.
control the fact that you don't got talent like that on the offensive line, but you can control what you do with the protection that you have. And so they need to do a better job with that. So I hope when we play against Jacksonville that we freaking smash them, man. And I hope that the next game is another dub against, because that one will be against the Colts. And hopefully Denver, I don't want them to look at their win today as like, oh, we can get on a win streak. Whatever we did here, we could duplicate going forward and all that. Like, I hope that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
because I need them to be a bad team. I need to get another dub in the division, and this way, like, we're right back into it again. But like, we can't afford like any losses really. Like maybe like two max. So you let one slip away way too easily. If you're gonna like lose one, it needed to be with the fight, bro. Like needed to be a
Hmm.
closer game because I truly believe that this is a kind of game that needed to be a super low scoring game. You
Yeah,
know, and you only do that by running the ball. So commitment to running and Derek just understanding better that more is needed from him. So
yeah.
that's my
I
thing.
I agree. I agree. I agree. They need to they kind of need to dig deep within themselves and look back on the games that you had success. Even the games that were close that you guys lost, you guys had success,
Hmm.
and look back at those games and really, put forth into the future games. But yeah, they need to don't hit the panic button. Guys can still, pull a good season out, but you gotta fix fast. Yeah, those are some good
So
points. Some good points.
so overall, I'm gonna give these guys F minus. There was, like I said, there are absolutely no positives for me, man. I
Yeah.
I might be for some people maybe I'm being a little too hard right there. Maybe they want to say D minus, but man, I ain't giving them no favors. You were shut out, dude. 0 to
Mm-hmm.
24. I know we're the 2-4 podcast, but like we don't want anybody 2-4ing us.
2-4 on you. No, yeah, that's given. I mean, that's your team. You gotta be hard on your team when they give you something like that.
So let's talk about your guys' game against the Rams.
Yep.
You guys got that nice cushy 1 o'clock game. Not even like 1 o'clock on the dot. It was more closer to 1:30.
125.
Yeah, it was closer to the 1:30. So you had a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
of extra sleep, a little extra dragging your ass around and prancing around, trying
yeah,
to look nice and cute.
yeah.
So
No.
talk to me, man. Talk to me how Niner Nation should be feeling right now. Cause you and
Feeling,
hey, before you do that, you and I predicted a dub,
I did.
right? And we both
I
said you
predicted a
guys,
good game, but I predicted a dub.
and we both said that you own this team. We both said it in the
Yeah,
regular season. You guys own this team. Might not
yeah.
always be in the playoffs, but in the regular season, you own them. And when you say you own somebody, that means that like more often than not, you get a game like this. So go ahead,
Yes,
man. Tell me about
yes.
the feels.
Uh, great game to bounce back from last week against the Chiefs. I mean, even the last 2 weeks from Atlanta to the Chiefs to now, you know, much needed win. One few reasons. It's the Rams, new division rivals. You know, uh, we got their number. Some reason, somehow. No Debo, no problem. you know,
You had you
but
had you had uh the white Debo. You had you call him Weebo.
we both. Yes, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. My man's over there looking studly. But yeah, no, much needed win to bounce back from two consecutive losses
Mm.
and to go back to 500. Definitely a good win to over the Rams in the division. Um, but yeah, I mean the game started off. The Rams went down the field. There's some trouble in the red zone. Getting it in that first time. With our defense. They got bailed out by a couple flags in the red zone. The Rams did, um, but it was a good look by the Niners. They stayed calm and poised. Putting up, you know, putting up the 10-14 going into half. And they came out balling. You know, uh, I'm looking at the stats right now, and it's domination to me. You know, 111 rushing yards to 56, 257 passing yards to 167. Like all of that came in the second half, and I think what they did in the first half was really reading the offense
Hmm.
and the defense at the same time, and then they made their adjustments and they came out and they played really really good football. Jimmy G, we got great Jimmy G today. We didn't get the bad. We got great Jimmy G.
Yeah,
21 for 25,
he
two
took care of it, man.
touchdowns.
He took
He
care of it.
and I That's what I'm saying. Jimmy G is good when Jimmy just does what Jimmy G needs to do. When he just needs to do what he needs to do, he's good. Um, all in all, they fixed and cleaned up the problems that they were having from the last two games. Defensively and you know offensively, and they just look like a really well-oiled machine. You
Yeah,
talk about how Christian McCaffrey impacted this game, being with the team now for a full week. Everybody was down, and it was just a good trade from the first week he played. I'm like, he only had one day. He had like
yeah.
a day and a half with the team. Why are you
If that,
questioning the trade? If
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I mean, and he still had an okay outing.
yeah.
They
We
just
gave
couldn't
him a
use him more.
good
We give him what?
grade.
I give him I give him like a C plus, almost like a B.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I give him an A. I give him an A plus today.
yeah.
If I can give him more, I give him. I mean, not only did he throw a touchdown pass, he caught
He
a touchdown
caught
pass,
one
and he
and
ran a
ran one.
touchdown. He made history. How
First
could
time
you
since
like
like early 2000s or something like that, man. It was crazy.
the last one to do that
Was
was
in '05.
LT. It
Man,
was LT to do it. LaDainian Tomlinson to do that, and he's the first ever in Niner history to do it. I mean, he had a good game, and Shanahan has said last week he wasn't able to get him in the third downs and red zone plays that he wanted to. Now he had full unleashed abilities with McCaffrey, and if I say it's a great trade
and it's only gonna
to
get
look at
better,
it.
man. That's the way
It's
I
only
look
gonna
at it.
get better. It's only gonna get better when Debo comes back. There's gonna be a lot more to do with the both of them. Um, Brandon Ayuk had a good game, 81 yards receiving, one touchdown. I mean,
Hmm.
a lot of bright points for this team and the defense as well.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of still had some defensive pieces out, but the backups that were in there stepped up big, in big time situations. You know, Oren Burks, he was in there. He stepped up. Uh,
yeah.
Obviously, good to see Nick Bosa back out there,
Oh,
and
for
he got a
sure.
sack. He got a sack.
That had to
Fred
boost like
Warner.
morale, man. To get
Oh
Bosa back,
yeah,
that had to boost
get
everybody's
Bosa
morale.
back. Get Bosa back in there, getting the pressure, and Fred Warner, who is the offensive or the defensive leader of this unit, getting
Yeah.
in there and having a pickup game from last week. Last week I saw, they got beat, man. They got spanked
Hmm.
by Patrick Mahomes, and you know what that does to like people's mental toughness.
Yeah.
You throw your hands up, you throw your head down. You're like, what can I do? But these guys, they picked themselves up had a great game, and it showed, man. Especially in that second half. That if I was because I was kind of eyeing the Rams, how they were going down the field a little bit, quick. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, but really played the better 2 quarters in the second half, and that's what really we needed right there.
Yeah, you guys demolished them, man. That second half
Yeah.
was crazy because that's like I was like halfway watching in the first half. I was never worried for you guys. Um
Ah,
I was like, you guys got this, man. I'm like
I was it was
this.
the it was like started the second quarter and I was like I was still seeing what they were doing. They're getting the run game going, all this
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm like, okay, they're moving the ball, they're moving the chains. It better football is to come,
Yeah, and then
And
you
what they
guys
did was
exploded, man. You guys exploded.
exploded. It was we had some really key third down stops that really shifted the momentum in that. And there was one play that the Rams had. They got a first down with Allen Robinson, and they got a penalty because he was taunting in Hufunga's face. And you know what? I praise Hufanga because what he did was he stayed calm in that situation. He didn't react, and the Rams took the penalty, and that really hit the final switch right there for them. They started collapsing at that point. The secondary started collapsing. We started throwing the ball over them. Jalen Ramsey was quiet that second half. It was they were getting picked apart and they were having sideline troubles on the Rams side just because they don't like to lose to us. They don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't. And it really just they really got in their own heads, and that's what really sealed the deal right there.
Yeah, you guys demolished them, man, and it felt like everything you guys were doing helped fuel the other side of the ball. So like
Yes,
I
yes.
especially saw it with McCaffrey. It felt like he kept he kept igniting something into the defense, and because
Yeah,
there was this one play where it looked like the Rams had called the perfect coverage for what they were gonna do, which was run with McCaffrey. But then McCaffrey, he knew he could wiggle right through and worm his way out. And once he wormed his way out, I mean, this dude took off for like I don't remember how many yards, but it was way more than the first down. It was like maybe like 16, 18 yards or something like that. And
yeah, yeah,
I was like, damn, bro, like this dude is he's changing he's he's changing culture in a way. Like you guys already had a good culture, but like it's becoming better.
yeah.
Because I think like
I mean,
also before the trade, there was still people talking a lot about like what does the future hold with the quarterback situation and that kind of thing. That was like a cloud hanging over him. But I think with this trade, especially with this game, what this did was like I think people could stop talking about it and leave it alone for this season. Quit making it
yeah,
a distraction and just focus on football because as you can see when they focus on football, they can beat the defending champs no problem. You
no
guys are
problem.
probably the actual team to beat. I mean, we don't know yet like how good like Philly's going to be like when they get tested.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
There's some
they're
question marks,
seven and
but
zero. They're seven. The Eagles are 7-0. But looking at their schedule, like for the remaining of the season, like I think they have like the third easiest schedule remaining.
yeah.
It's like they don't play anybody except I think they play what the Cowboys again and the Giants again
And I
that
don't
later
know
on this season.
I don't know how
That's it.
many players in that locker room have playoff experience. So that's the other
Yeah,
thing.
uh,
You guys
that's
have a
the other
lot of
thing.
that. You guys have a lot
Yes,
of that, and the thing that is very fortunate for you guys is you
virtually
guys,
the same team from the last 2 years
well, not just
or the
that, but
last few years.
not just that, but you guys were making the playoffs with like your key contributors having been young. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of unfair for the conference to have a young team that's going to still be relevant for a few more years at
yeah,
being like at the very prime of their games, you know what I'm saying? Cuz like you guys have a lot of dudes
yeah,
that are like 3 year 4 year guys, you know, they're so good and they're so young. It's kind of like what, you know, how people talked it up a lot with Cincinnati, but the thing is you guys were them before they were them, you know?
yeah.
And
Yeah, definitely.
so you guys have a great opportunity to go to maybe like 2 or 3 Super Bowls. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how the
Yeah,
conference is going to shape up, but like I don't trust Cowboys. I don't trust um really just anybody in that division. I don't. The only team that I would probably be worried about is the Rams, maybe, because even though they're an older team, they are showing that like they're always in the win now mode. Like they're
yeah,
adopting the basically the mentality of what it means to be a sports team in LA.
yeah.
You have to be very relevant.
It's it's championship or bust. That's that mentality they're
Yeah,
trying to adapt. You know,
yeah,
and I mean they're a good football team. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
You know they got good players. You know, it's just you can kind of see the downfall a little bit. Um, I think obviously I think the defensive line took a hit when they got rid of Von Miller. You know, that because he was definitely a key point in their defense last season, which really helped them. Uh, but I
Dude,
mean they're a good football team.
dude,
They still are.
you guys shut down the run game.
Oh, that's the other thing. They've had not a very good run game this whole season. I don't know what's going on with them.
But like
Cam Akers.
they couldn't do nothing,
No,
man. They used 5 people to run with, and they can only come up with 56 yards between the 5 of them. So I mean, you guys pretty much shut it down. Um,
yeah,
and I mean, you guys just played really solid defense, especially in that second half, man. They didn't score again. What they had in the
yeah,
first half is what they were allowed to have, and that's it.
yeah,
You guys were like, we allowed you to have 14, but no more, and asserted your
yeah,
dominance, man. And like I said, it really felt like McCaffrey um, really sparked your guys' defense to match that energy, match that production that McCaffrey was putting out there. Because
yeah.
this was McCaffrey's game. I know
Yes, it was.
Jimmy G had a very excellent game. Only what missing 2 or 3 passes. He was,
Yeah,
and so that's a very good game. Like dude, that's a that's
efficient.
just very
Yeah,
efficient, and
yeah. The defense
you
was
didn't
picking it.
fumble.
The deep.
You didn't
Yeah,
fumble, throw an interception. Like, dude, you couldn't play it any
there
better.
was there. There was one scare. There was one scare, and I saw the way that Christian McCaffrey handled it.
Yeah,
I mean, he got the ball knocked out, blooped up in the air, and it was just
yeah,
very fortunate to fall in Ray McLeod's hands while he was on the ground. But McCaffrey, he got to the sideline. He was like, damn, like he was like kind of upset with himself.
yeah.
And I think that just fueled him more to ball out. And the defense was picking up what Christian McCaffrey was dropping down. That fool was balling out, and they were like, "Hey, yo, we got to ball out too."
And I think not only was this like a great game for y'all, but like this was a great showing of like McCaffrey's game because I remember when I brought up the fact that not a lot of people actually know about this fool's game. Like they don't know how
Yeah,
good he really is, and especially the physicality part. How many times did you see him hit people hard and him get hit
quite a
hard
few.
back too? And he was
He
like
was
getting up, no problem.
he
I
was
told
trying to run through guys,
I
but
told you he
he's
sacrifices
like,
his body.
I'm gonna carry you with me a couple
Yeah,
yards. You know, that's
he's like he's straight up psycho. Like he's like really about that life of like I don't care what happens to my body.
yeah.
I'm just trying to play football. If I
I
get something
do.
broken,
I
I know.
care, but
But but when you see
yeah,
him not go down with the injury, you see the impact that he has on a team. Like
yeah,
this dude this dude only catches L's when like the team around him sucks and
yeah,
can't win without him. You guys can win without him, but like you guys can hella win with him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like
Hell win with him. He's just like, that extra spark.
hmm
Like, imagine the game we could have had if Debo was playing and healthy, because they already called Debo the Rams killer.
yeah.
You know, the this year and last year and the year before that, he has always played good against the Rams, just because he likes that rivalry. He likes, getting in there and whooping ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like he's
he
a
wants to
dog.
smoke.
He wants to smoke. He wants all of. He's like, give me
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
want it. And and man, he did a little interview on the sideline. He was like, man, he I think he did an interview and he said he was like, yeah, I was telling Jed York, I was like, thank you guys for getting Christian McCaffrey. He's like, I love him here. Thank you. Not only does that take a little bit off of his shoulders, but it's like they can both ball out together, and the sky's the limit for this team, man.
They can both ball out, and Christian McCaffrey is just like he's one of those dudes that's really good for your locker room, man. He's a good dude.
Oh, he's a good guy. He's a team player. He's like I believe he said he's like, yeah, I was kind of down in the dumps because the Panthers were willing to get rid of me, you know, and I found out I was coming here, and my mood instantly changed. I said, I want to win. I want to win for these guys, you know. He's like, I want to win for the whole Bay Area, because that's where he went to college. That's where he spent a lot of his, you know, college football career in that area.
Yeah.
So he definitely wants to win, and he's bringing that, like you said, he's bringing that culture with him,
hmm
which is very good. So yeah, man, I give today's game as a plus, man. It is really solid, you know, well efficient football, and for a game that we needed to win this game. This was a must win game, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I give this also an A+, and I give in-game MVP to McCaffrey.
Oh,
Um,
of course, it is
because
given.
if you guys didn't have him, I mean, you guys probably still, could have pulled out a dub, but it would have been a much closer game.
Yeah,
Because
it would have
who
been.
who would have sparked your defense the way McCaffrey did? You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah,
you got no Debo, so you don't have somebody else to be that crazy explosive. Yeah, you have Kittles, but like I I view him more right now in this stage of his career as like a red zone threat only, not just a dude
yeah,
who goes off for like mega yards like he has in the past.
yeah.
And
He's definitely he's a good receiver, but he's a damn better blocker.
yeah,
He's a damn good blocker.
yeah, and so
which is
Yeah,
which is great for our run game.
I give them an A, and I gotta. If I had to give a letter grade to the other team, man, I got to give them a D because
Yeah, you got
you
to give
guys,
them that D.
you guys got shut down in that second half, and you guys were
Yeah.
also caught arguing amongst yourselves, like big
Oh,
time.
it was a sideline blow. It was a team blow up for some reason. Next thing I know, that they're going at each other. I'm like, damn, we got him.
Especially Jalen Ramsey, man, he was like
He
going
does,
off on his
yeah.
teammates, man. Like
Yeah,
he does not like to just get walked all over like that. But I feel like he's also a blame deflector too.
yeah.
Like, bro,
He is.
you take this L too, right? Like you got walked over too, man. It wasn't just everybody
Yeah.
else blew an assignment or something. Like
I think
there,
I think Ramsey had two chances to pick the ball in that game, and he missed them both. One of
yeah.
them being hit him right in the hands like this, and he just dropped it.
It's the reason why
He
he
had
don't play
two.
wide receiver.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, great game, must win to stay afloat in the race here.
Who's next on your guys' schedule?
Next on our schedule, we got a bye after this week, which is good. We
Oh yeah,
wanted to
yes.
bye with
So
with the win.
yeah.
We got the Chargers
Oh,
Sunday
okay. Okay,
prime
okay.
time.
Yeah, that would be a pretty fun game. See what happens with that one. I think you guys get a dub on that one.
Yeah, I mean, the next few games. I mean, we got Chargers, Cardinals, Saints. So we got a
Hmm.
home game, away game, home game. So, yeah, especially the Chargers. You know, going in with the win into the bye. Then we got a game at home. Like these guys are just gonna get healthier. We're gonna feel more comfortable, all confidence in the world. I think it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, they're gonna be. Uh, you guys are gonna be healthier, like you said, and these guys would are not on a bye. They were on a bye this week. So next week they
Hmm.
play against Atlanta. So, they might have a tough one on their hands with Atlanta because there's some games where Atlanta like they're really balling out and other times they're kind of not.
Yeah.
But you know, uh, with the way the Chargers keep getting dinged up with nagging injuries and stuff, who knows? They might be all tenderized for you guys already, So
Yeah. Just gotta grind them, man.
yeah. Let's get to some of the other games around the league. What games stood out to you that you want to talk about?
Uh, I'll talk about the. You just mentioned the Falcons. I'll talk about the Falcons and Panthers game, man. It was a wild ending in that game. I mean, if you look at the pull up the stats here, um, I mean, it was a high scoring game, both teams, but the ending was what really got me because I didn't watch the whole game, but that was the end. That was the ending that I watched. Um, I believe the Panthers were coming back, and Philip Walker threw a
No, no,
um,
man. It's the P is not for Philip. It's for Paul Walker. Okay.
Paul Paul. All right, Paul Walker, Philip Paul Walker had a hell of a drive, and it threw a deep bomb to DJ Moore. DJ Moore had a great game. He had 6 receptions for 152 yards and a
Yeah.
touchdown. And he caught that touch. He caught that touchdown in the end zone.
Hmm.
And man, they're going crazy. But DJ Moore really screwed it for his team, man, because he in celebration he took his helmet off and he got a flag for it. You can't do that,
You
man.
can't.
In a
You
game
can't.
like that, You can't do that. And it affected the kick, the extra point. Instead of being a chip shot, was a 40-something yard field goal attempt or extra point attempt, and the kicker missed it. They choked it and pushed it left, missed it. That was because at that point it was 34-34 when they scored the touchdown. The extra point, they would have won the game
Yeah, man.
right then and there.
And you know that's supposed to be like a rookie mistake, not someone who's been in the league for
Yeah,
a minute,
man.
man. He's been in the league now for 4 years, and you
Yeah,
doing that.
man.
You know how the league has been, but like football and basketball, they don't want people showing emotions, and that kind of stuff.
You just
Like,
gotta
bro, you just
act like you've been there, done that,
yeah,
like
man.
on to the next one.
But
But man,
you're
and
right.
then
You're right. He cost the team, bro. He cost them.
he did all that celebration for what? For what? A loss because the Falcons came back in overtime and won the game. I mean, it's just
And
it's a
and
rookie mistake by a veteran player.
and Atlanta was like kind of trying to throw the game away too, man.
Yeah,
Mariota threw 2 interceptions, dog.
2 interceptions.
Like they
Yes,
were trying to, but you didn't want to win, so they were like, all right, we gave you a shot to win the
gave you
game.
gave it to you, man. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a fought game from both sides, but man, if you're DJing more, man, you gotta feel bad because you just cost your team a game, man.
Yeah, dude, because like defense for either team really wasn't playing up to par.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say that Atlanta did a little bit better job of playing defense, just a little bit better.
yeah,
But you know, they gave up a crap ton of points in the fourth quarter. And and like I said, like if they were playing pretty good, cuz like if you look at it, first quarter 3, second quarter 7, third quarter 3. Like if you just continue to play good D and all that, like you would have won this no problem with how much you scored
hmm
yourself. But like I said,
yeah,
they wanted to give Carolina chances to get back into the game and even win it, and they did exactly that. But the thing is, you had someone who's a vet who decided to make a rookie mistake when he's not a rookie,
hmm
and that pisses off coaches so bad. I remember,
Oh yeah,
dude. I remember what's his name again? Deshaun
Sean Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson. When he was a young fella, okay, I think it was his rookie year. I think it might have been against the Cowboys.
Big time showboater Deshaun Jackson was.
He he you know, he's speed, man. Like
He
this
is.
he
He's
especially back
high end
then,
speed.
no one could keep up with him, bro. Like I don't dude,
Yeah.
to be honest, I feel like this dude might have been faster than Cheetah,
Mm,
like back then. And so anyways,
possibly. Possibly.
he smoked everybody on the D, and he goes and decides to spike the ball going into the end zone, but he spiked it before he got into the end zone, dummy.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Right at the half-yard line, he said, "Click."
What a dumbass. but he was a rookie, so that's okay. But he still got chewed out big time. But he was a rookie. You
Yeah.
you don't get on him that hard. You get on him hard, but just not that hard. If I was Carolina, I'd be like, all right, everybody line up. We're gonna take turns kicking this fool in the butt. Like you can't dude, you cost your team a dub, man. But you know, I don't think they're sweating it that much. They're now 2-6. You know,
Yeah.
they're they're playing for who gets the top pick in the draft now. Like
Yeah.
there's no point in competing, man.
Yep.
Just let it go. Um, but yeah, dude. Uh, I don't know who to give credit to. I don't even know how to grade this game because both teams were chaotic. So,
Yeah.
maybe a C- for both teams. They could have
Yeah.
both had better performances. They both did stupid stuff, you
Yeah.
know. So I don't know. What would you grade it if you had to give them a grade?
Just I mean, this is like about a C, just right in the middle.
Yeah.
I give DJ more though, a D, because of that mistake, man. You can't do that.
Yeah, man, especially when you're having a career game like that.
Yeah.
You know, when you're balling out like that, dude, the last thing you want to do is your cherry on the top is that you cost your team the dub.
Yep.
And that's not an overreaction for anybody that's listening, man. That's not an overreaction. That's legit facts. Like you said, it was an easy chip shot and it just got harder because of this dude off of the refs feeling like he's showboating.
Mm-hmm.
So
All you had to do was just keep your helmet on. That's it. Not only did he take it, he took it off and threw it on the ground. He was like, What's up?" He's like, "I'm him," kind of thing, you know? I'm like, "Nah, man."
so I want to move on to the next game. Uh
What's the game you see?
so hold on.
That
Okay.
was mine.
Do you think 29 points is enough to win a game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
In the NFL, yeah.
yeah. Well, uh, 29 points were scored, but it came in the L to a team who called themselves the Dallas Cowboys, who scored 49 points. Okay.
I doubled that.
They were like, hold my beer as I go off on you guys. Dude, man.
Yeah.
They scored every quarter, and the first three quarters it was 14, 14, 14, then 7. These guys were
Yep.
not letting off that neck, man, and that's disappointing because last week we were praising the Bears with how much they was running all over the team that they beat. They were like, remember we said they know the shoe size because of the footprints left all over their body, man.
Yeah.
and
But
it's and Dak Prescott's return.
yep.
And I was worried about that. I was like, I don't know how good he's gonna be, man. But
He had a decent game, and he had one pick though. But he had a decent game.
yeah,
But we were talking about the Bears last week running it, but Cowboys ran it. But it's not the person you think who was running it. Tony Pollard,
Tony Pollard, man.
130 yards, 14 carries, 3 touchdowns. Damn.
He was like, call me Tony Tony Zeke.
Tony.
I eat too. I eat too.
Yeah. No, yeah, great game. I always thought Tony Pollard was a decent running back, a solid, backup running back. But
Especially
man, today he
the last couple years, he's been more than solid. Like, there's been many games
yeah,
where Ezekiel Elliott like did not do his thing, but Tony Pollard did. So
and I mean you see it right here.
does this
You know,
create controversy like the way Cooper Rush did with this Dak Prescott situation?
I
Man,
don't
dude,
know.
it's like
Is Ezekiel Elliott on the way out? Tony
I don't know,
Pollard's in?
man, but like, bro, it's the headlines never end with this team, man.
Never,
They don't end, bro. That
never.
see, like
They could be the worst team in the NFL, and they'll still have headlines. I don't know why.
no, I can't stand Cowboy fans, but I do like the
Yeah.
Cowboys. and I especially like the headlines that they come with. It's such an
Yeah,
interesting read, bro. It's such a good
yeah,
read. Like
yeah.
screw Harry Potter books, screw the Lord of the Rings. Just read a Dallas Cowboys article about the latest uh, Jerry Jones line and all this other crap.
It's a skeptical to watch. You got there's times where you got Ezekiel Elliott over on the sideline looking like one of the cheerleaders from The Longest Yard,
Yeah,
uh, with his jersey up halfway and
yeah,
his
crop
ponytails,
topping it.
the crop topping it, and then what is it in the headlines of Cooper Rush coming to save the day. Everyone thought he was the future,
Hmm.
but I mean, hey, they got they got a good team. They can win football games. Now,
Yeah,
the
dude.
thing is they can they get to the playoffs and get past the first game.
So I got a question for you, man.
Hit me.
If this was your team, okay, and yes, this is a pretty nice dub, but are you somewhat disappointed that your defense allowed 29 points on the
Yeah,
board? Yeah.
that's a lot. That's a lot of points.
That's why I asked you to start this. Do you think 29 points is enough to win? Cuz
It is in
cuz
the
it wasn't
NFL.
for the
Yeah,
Bears.
no,
But like I mean, I will say
they
this,
were they
they
were
scored,
lucky that
the defense did score a touchdown,
yeah,
but like bruh, that's still, you still gave 29 points. That's enough to win in the NFL for any team.
yeah,
I mean, shoot, the Broncos struggle to get to that number.
yeah,
And I would feel kind of ashamed in myself because like first quarter you did a good job of holding them to 0, but then the next quarter they got 17, the next quarter 6, and the fourth quarter, yes, it's coming at like a garbage time situation, but it's 6. But
yeah.
yeah, dude,
Had the
I
Cowboys not go outscored them, uh, I think if the Cowboys offense wasn't there, the Cowboys defense would have blown the game for
Mhm.
them. Because you think you give up 29 points, you think you're expected to lose.
Yeah,
But had the offense not showed out, they it would have been a closer game. It might possibly been an L.
cuz like Dak threw 100 more yards than Justin Fields, but Justin Fields didn't throw an interception. Dak did.
Yeah,
So you know, he was protecting the ball and he was kind of efficient, 17 from for 23 attempts.
yeah.
So
And the
yeah,
Bears had more
that's
rushing yards,
yeah, and that's the other thing. They're very good
and
rushing
more time of
team.
possession, and more time of possession.
Yeah, it's just very fortunate things happened.
Yeah,
Like if Tony Pollard was held to 1 touchdown instead of 3, and
yeah,
Dak Prescott not getting his running touchdown. Um, this is a whole different ball game. Um, because like that defense kind of wasn't the factor of this game. It was the offense.
yeah,
And you know, and I would be like kind of worried that like my team couldn't stop the run because how many yards did they have? They had 240 yards. That's
yeah,
insane. That is insane, bro. That's almost as many yards as Dak threw for. He threw for 250.
yeah. They had, yeah,
That's that's insane.
yeah.
Um But the Bears did also, because of Tony Pollard going off. I mean, they did allow them to rush for 200 yards. So I mean, it is what it is.
It's right there in the
I
kind of middle, yeah.
at the end of the day, I didn't expect Chicago to win, but I didn't expect them to put that many points up on the Cowboys, because Cowboys are one of the better defenses this year, and
Yeah,
especially at takeaways and scoring. They're a very good
yeah,
scoring defense. Um, so yeah, dog. I but if I'm a Bears fan, I'm seriously liking the future of my team. I think there's a lot of bright spots. I think
oh
there's
yeah,
I think there's something to build on, and maybe, sometime down the road, because I don't think they have uh first round draft picks or whatever. I'm not sure on their draft pick situation is.
yeah. I'm not sure.
But I feel like if they just continue to build on what they have, they're going to be a good team in no time. They're going to
Oh
start
yeah,
winning, and the more Justin Fields develops, the better they're going to be.
yeah.
Because
I mean, he's already good scrambler, and you know
yeah,
he can create plays with his legs. The passing, his passing, when it gets better, you know, uh, reading the field and whatnot. He's
yeah,
gonna be a solid quarterback.
yeah, and he has good size at the quarterback position too. I'm looking at his stats. He's 6'3", so he's not like Kyler Murray, who's like
Yeah,
lying to people about him being 6 feet tall. He ain't no 6 feet tall, bro. He's like 5'11", 5'10".
yeah.
That
When
dude
you
looks
watch Kyler
puny.
Murray, watch Kyler Murray highlight plays, he looks like a toddler running from his parents that just took something.
Yeah, and
He's
and just
he's
Justin Fields doesn't look like that.
he's just running up. It's the funniest thing ever. It's that's funny. But
So
yeah,
he's six
he's
three,
gonna
two
be
twenty eight.
he's gonna
That's
be
a nice
solid.
size.
That's a good future quarterback there. You
Yeah.
know.
All right. So what other game should we talk about, man?
Hmm.
I'm surprised New England won their game.
Yeah.
I really thought the Jets defense would have shut them down. And then like early on, cuz I didn't like all the way follow it, but I remember the first half was kind of brutal for Mac Jones. Like he threw an interception, and it felt like people were gonna be like clamoring for Zappy to come back
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. I mean, everyone thought the Jets were gonna win this game. Everyone thought
Yeah,
the Jets were gonna blow this game out the way they've been playing, but hey,
they had a monster third quarter.
they did. They
That's
had
what
to
really did it for
really
them.
set them apart. Yeah. But
So I mean, it's the Patriots ain't out of it, man. They're not out of the race for their division.
they're right at 400. So I mean 500. So they're in there. Oh, you could
They're-
talk about how Packers are slipping.
Yeah, and we talked about that
Packers,
last episode. We talked about how we weren't confident.
Aaron, Aaron. Is he
Now,
done?
now I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I
I
can't
don't
blame
know.
him. I can't blame him for losing to Buffalo,
Yeah, that's
but
Buffalo, man.
dude's QBR was like trash though, man. Like I figured it was gonna be maybe a shootout, but
So is
nope.
Josh Allen's. Josh threw 2 picks, 13 for 25, 2 picks, 2 touchdowns. Man.
Yes, but he had a better QBR, but
Hmm.
Aaron had the better passer rating. Um,
Yeah. Man.
You would think though, man, that they would maybe utilize Aaron Jones more in their passing game and not just their run game. Um, because like, I mean, he has 4 catches, but it's for 14 yards. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to see that number go up. I would like to see him in that same conversation as some of the running backs that we've been talking about that are multifaceted, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I feel like he has enough skill in his body to do the same things as Christian McCaffrey, Taysom Hill, Debo, um, other guys that you can name that we've been
Yeah.
talking about. Like I feel like he can definitely be in that same category, but I don't know. Maybe they're really trying to not rely on that and try to get more out of the guys that they have. Um, why isn't Sammy Watkins getting more burn? I don't know.
Yeah. I
Because
don't know.
I mean, because I've seen Sammy Watkins be successful with like the Chiefs.
Yeah.
He was one of their burners, and I'm pretty sure that speed's still there. But I don't know. Maybe he's also slipping, or maybe the cold weather is getting to him. Because
Maybe.
not everybody can play in cold weather cities, man.
Yeah. No.
And this game, I mean, doesn't help that it was in Buffalo. Buffalo is one of the coldest places, and then when you play in Green Bay, I mean that's one of the other coldest places. Like there's not many more colder places than those two places.
Yeah.
But
I don't
dude,
know, man.
what would you what in your mind do you think Aaron Rodgers is kind of done?
I wouldn't say completely done. Um, I will say, I mean, he doesn't have the receivers like he used to, which made his receivers did make him look good as well as him making the receivers look good. Um, I still think he can be he can still be a winner. Um, it's just it he doesn't have that one stud or those two guys that are really consistent. Uh, I mean, if I was a betting man, I bet the Packers try to go out and get somebody before Tuesday with a trade or something like that. Um, for them to try and make a final run,
And I mean
make a run.
they have like the draft capital to do so because
Hmm.
we had to give up draft picks in order to get Devontae. So
Yeah.
they have
So if they want to use
they
that and
have their
turn it
stuff and
around,
our stuff, and I mean
yeah,
they could easily if there's some Christian McCaffrey level of player. I'm not saying at that
yeah,
position. I'm saying that level of like he's a star. If there's another one available out there, they why not just do a
why
trade?
not?
Because I don't think they've been that good of a drafting team with their receivers since Aaron Rodgers has been
Yeah,
their quarterback. Um, like Devontae is a little bit of a different story. He I don't think anybody saw a best receiver in the league when he got drafted. I think they just saw like a pretty good player that could be good, but not like Hall of Fame special kind of good, you know.
yeah,
And so why not just get a proven commodity? But again, I don't really know who's available like that, who's on the trading block. That's something that we should like look into at some point.
yeah.
But yeah, dude. Um, this is not looking good if you're a Packers fan. If you're a Packers fan, you're scratching your head on what is going on with our season.
I mean,
I wouldn't
there's
say
there
I wouldn't say their season's over though.
yeah.
There's still 9 more
There's
games
one
left.
there's one wide receiver that my name is popping up is Jerry Judy.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. But
Yeah.
does Jerry Judy make that big of a difference for Green Bay for what is probably going to be asked of him?
Yeah.
That's the question because like there's been flashes with Jerry Judy, but he's also not had that good of a quarterback in his 2 years in the league now. Or is it 3 years? Either
Yeah.
one. But
Yeah.
uh cuz like before uh Russ got there, he didn't have that good of a quarterback. Remember, they traded uh his old quarterback to Seattle, and instead of starting him, they said, "Nah, we're good. We got Gino. He was the real prize."
Yeah. There's a
And
couple other names here that are popping up. Brandon Cooks from the Texans, talks of dealing him away. Patriots are talking about dealing Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. Those, you know,
so
some
I might go
okay
after
receivers
I
there.
might go after Nelson because it seems like every time he changes scenarios or sceneries,
Kind of,
he
he kind
has
of picks up.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's because he did that with us when he got to our team, and he had an amazing year. And then he went to what, the Patriots, and
Patriot,
then
yeah, Pets.
yeah, and
So
and he was good when he got there, but he's like one of those dudes. There's always guys like that, regardless of what league you're talking about, where
yeah,
they can't stay in one spot for too long because they, for whatever reason,
yeah,
they lose that it factor that they had. But
yeah. It's kind of like I've been here for a little too long. Either they kind of had a bright spot and they kind of dipped off, so now they're not getting as much playing time as they were when they first got there. So now they're kind of just in a rut.
yeah,
Maybe a change of scenery, you know, and it's guys like that who become those kind of journeyman guys. They kind of make their way around the league and until they find that one spot to finish off the rest of their career.
and they might never find that one spot. It might just be like
They
what you were saying,
never.
that they get into a rut, and then people question how good he is, and then he always has to
Mhm.
reprove himself as like his worth, his
Because
value. And so
when
when
he
he
was
gets
with
yeah,
when he was with the Eagles, he had a
when he
pretty good
first
run.
yeah, when he first got
Yeah,
there,
he was
he
he
helped them
was
win the Super
good.
Bowl. He helped them win the
He
Super Bowl.
helped them. He
But
was
then
great.
and then he helped them not repeat.
Yeah, and then it kind of went down, and then
And then he
and
came to
then,
us and he looked good. He looked
and
real
he went
good.
up, and then he went
And
down.
then yeah, and then we had to let
Yeah,
him go to the
dump him
Patriots,
off.
and then he looked good.
Yeah, he looked good, and then the Patriots added
It's a roller coaster.
Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers. They had a good receiving core, so he kind of dipped off.
Yeah,
So hey, I mean, to go play with Aaron Rodgers, that might be a good fit.
and because Nelson is a journeyman at this point,
Yeah,
he should not cost you like top
a
dollar at
lot.
all.
No.
Like you could get away with like fifth round pick, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
sixth round pick. Who
So
knows?
so
A conditional
and
pick.
anybody who's watching and you're an NFL fan, next couple of days are gonna be pretty interesting to watch with the trade deadline coming up.
Yeah, and if you're playing fantasy, if Nelson
Hey,
Aguilar gets traded, he might be a nice pickup.
look at the last couple of weeks with fantasy.
Uh huh.
Christian McCaffrey went from here to getting here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like who knows? Like a good, solid player could
yeah.
go up from here to here, or even down here. Who knows where they go? So there's a lot to watch. It's gonna be exciting to see all the moves.
So You know, there was a game that we talked about last time, saying a game to kind of keep your eye on. That's probably not the game that originally you would ever think was a decent game,
Hmm.
but that's because you didn't expect the year that they were gonna have, and
Yeah.
that's the Giants and Seahawks game.
Yeah.
Two two teams that are like the
What?
upper echelon in their conferences, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's with knowing what their talent has, knowing who's at their quarterback positions.
Hey man, I'll tell you right now, he's not gonna win it, but he's playing MVP ball, and that's Geno Smith. He's not gonna win it, but he'll have his name mentioned
Hey,
in
if
there.
they
He's not gonna win it because Patrick Mahomes and everything like that, and Josh Allen,
if the
like, but
Giants
he is
if the Giants and Seahawks finish with like a really good year, do they crack the top 100? Like some of their players, like Gino and Daniel Jones, like do they crack it?
for next year. I think they might, and I think they have the Seahawks. They that team, man. That's another team that just has good coaching. They have good coaching, good player development. I mean,
You talking
Kenneth
about the Seahawks?
Walker, the Seahawks, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
They have good coaching. Um you know, an all around just a solid program that they went out and were like, you know what? We're gonna go out. Chino got the job and he is playing better than ever. Better than he was a starter before.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
yeah, I mean, you know, I still got to say this. I think the reason why they're having such a good year is because they have so much influx of youth, and I
mhm,
said that I think Pete Carroll is better coaching young dudes than he is vets, because as soon as
yeah.
the Legion of Boom became older, not that they were old out of the prime or whatever, but just older,
Mhm,
he couldn't control them. He couldn't get them to listen to what he's trying to preach out there. It was falling on deaf ears. Um
yeah.
and I got to give props also to the Giants, because their coaching staff
Giants too.
is really nice. Like I
Really
liked
good.
it. I like the energy that they bring. They're especially their head coach. Their head coach,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, he used to be a NFL player. I think he played
Mhm,
for the Patriots. I think.
yeah.
And
One
and
of
like
one of their best coaches since Tom Coughlin. Like,
yeah,
big
and
time.
and because he's a former player, he knows how to talk to his guys. He knows the locker room talk, and he knows like what you would want a coach saying on the sidelines, trying to back you up against the refs and stuff. Because like
Mhm,
I bet you a lot of times these players are always like, man, I wish my coach went out to bat for me on this one, or came with
yeah.
this type of energy. Maybe he did come out, but he didn't come out with like this emphatic energy about like, no man, that shouldn't have been called on my dude or whatever. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
that dude being a former player, he knows exactly how these guys feel being out there, going out in the trenches and being uh, just feeling like you're in a war zone, out in battle. So he knows exactly what these guys need at any given moment. It's just
Yeah.
it kind of sucks that they were shut down. I didn't expect Seattle to play such good defense on these guys, but yeah,
They got a good defensive squad,
it's only
they
it's
have
only their second loss. I mean, you can't like
yeah.
if you're a New York Giants fan, like you're still like have a very good winning record. You're doing something that was
I
not
mean,
expected of you at all.
exactly, exactly. I mean, had the had the Eagles not be as good as they are right now, like that division I mean, it's still tight, but it would have been even tighter had the Eagles not been uh 7-0 right now. And then you got the Cowboys right there with them at 6-2. And then still kind of creeping, lingering is the Commanders, which is kind of they're at 500.
It's the
So
other team
you
in that
know
division.
other
That
team that could be kind of sneaky in there,
you
But
know,
I'm not saying they're gonna win the division, but they're gonna cause some havoc
I mean
when they play each other.
the nickname for the NFC East for a good while now was the NFC least. But this year
Yeah,
they're like the
the
NFC
mostest,
beast.
the
This guy
beast.
this guy couldn't even rhyme. He was like the mostest. That's what rhymes with least and east, the mostest.
Yeah, the NFC beast. Yeah,
But man, dude, yeah, these guys a lot of these guys were shut down that normally are doing pretty good like Saquon, 20 carries for 53 yards. I mean, this dude's been having a decent year, and Seattle kind of made everything non-existent. He only averaged 2.7 yards a carry.
yeah,
And it's surprising because like Saquon has a lot to prove. But at the same time, I you got to give your hats off, man. That Seattle was the better team. You can't do nothing
yeah.
about a team just outdoing you. Like with New Orleans beating my team. I mean, I can't say nothing other than they out physical us in every aspect. They outdid us in everything
Hmm.
by a large margin.
Oh
And
yeah,
with this game, it kind of looks like it was that way the whole time. The only time
yeah,
that it was ever in question was the first quarter when they were 0-0.
yeah, man. No, yeah, the Seahawks are yeah, are the, is that they're that the surprising good team so far. They're sitting at 5-3 atop the West. 49ers are right behind them at 4-4. But that could change in Seahawks favor or the Niners favor at any time. I mean, the Seahawks are I give them they're playing good football, but I think one yeah, I'm not being biased, but just on paper, when the 49ers they really start get this thing rolling, man, they're gonna be hard to beat, especially making that push for the playoffs. They're gonna be hard to beat. So
I mean, I think it would be hard for anybody to like think that you're being biased about your team, man, because like your team look look real
it's
special, you know,
yeah,
and like you put more stock into one game in the NFL than you do in other leagues because other leagues have more games, and
yeah.
so
There's
you
only so many games.
there's only so many games, and you put so much preparation for each game, and so it says a lot about your team anytime it gets a dub or a L. Like,
Yeah,
so what I saw was scary because that means that you guys, if can either continue it or build on it. Like, I don't really see you guys taking like any big steps backwards. You might take like small steps here and there, maybe, depending on, you never know how a game is going to go because you can't count out anybody. We brought that up
yeah,
about my team schedule. I said that it's more favorable. It doesn't mean that it's like they're going to go undefeated.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and it's because you got to put respect on teams' names, man. They're pros for a reason.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I respect the Seahawks team, man. They've won 3 in a row right now. So I mean, they're playing good. So they're not a team to take lightly right now.
Not
Definitely
at
not.
all. Yeah.
Not at all. Also just looking at other standings in the NFC. I mean, the North, the Vikings are going to take that division, no doubt, unless the Packers can do something to make some type of run. But the Vikings are at 6-1. If you told me that was going to happen, I would have told you you're smoking.
Is there
Yeah.
is there more teams that you want to talk about in the world of football?
Not many more, man. Just covered the all I wanted to talk about. Some
Yeah, the rest of the stuff, kind of feels like you don't have to do much explanation. Like we'll quickly go over this Denver Jacksonville Jaguar game, the London game. Um,
it's the
it,
London
it's
game, isn't it?
it's it didn't look very pretty to start with. In that first half, really
Yeah.
it wasn't that pretty of a game for either team. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, uh, the other Broski's Bay, he threw for 2 interceptions,
Yeah.
and Russell Wilson threw an interception himself, and he had a terrible QBR, and obviously so did Trevor Lawrence. These guys weren't that efficient at all,
Hmm.
and the run game is meh for Broncos,
Yeah.
and Jacksonville had a lot more success in the run game.
Yeah.
Um,
They. So it's going back to they found their guy
mhm,
in Travis Etienne Jr. They were kind of going back and forth before they traded away James Robinson. The start of the season, James Robinson was looking like that dog, man. He was
mhm.
he was he was breaking big runs. He was having a good game. But then, uh uh Anthony, he started to pick it up and he started being that go-to guy, and it shows here. 24 carries, 156 yards, and a touchdown. Like that's good. Only if they got a lot of bright points to build in bright points to build on in Jacksonville. Uh, just having Trevor Lawrence have a little bit more, poise and confidence, and then
Yeah,
Jacksonville is
he needs to
can
get
always
better.
Jackson. Yeah, he needs to get better. Jacksonville has always been that kind of run team, with Leonard
Yeah.
Fournette and now with Etienne. Uh, they can run the football.
No, yeah, they've
They got
always they've
they got
that's like the makeup of
good
their
defense.
organization. Like they always want to make sure that they have a good running back. It even goes beyond
Yeah,
Leonard
it even
Fournette.
goes back
It
to
goes Maurice
Maurice
Jones-Drew,
Jones-Drew.
and before him it was Fred Taylor.
Yeah,
And so like they've always had outstanding running backs. I think the thing that's always been kind of in question is quarterback and receivers. And
yeah. I mean, they got some good receivers. Christian Kirk, good receiver. Evan Ingram is a good tight end. Zay Jones, he's a good
yeah,
receiver.
and I know for a fact with
It
Zay
it's just
Jones.
yeah, Zay
Yeah,
Jones. He was with you guys for a little while.
yeah.
He's a good receiver. It's just that Trevor Lawrence is kind of
He's the one
just
that's kind of
eh.
holding them back right now.
He is holding them back. Basically, he's holding them
Yeah,
back, and
because they have a good
I feel
defense
like
as
he
well.
can. They do have a good defense. They
I think
got
they have a
they
good
got the
one.
other Josh Allen too.
Yeah,
He's a solid player. You know, uh, but yeah, they got Tyson Campbell. He's a solid player.
and they have the soup,
Um, yeah,
so they're eating well because Tyson brings it. He
the
shares it with
Campbell.
the team.
Not only do they got the soup, but they got the chicken. The Tyson and Campbell.
Um,
No, yeah, but yeah, Lawrence is. I mean, he's got to step it up for this team. If he's playing well, this team could do very well in the future
the reason
seasons.
why the reason why I don't think he's gonna do well, man, is because he got long hair, don't care.
Long hair
So
don't
he
care.
so the don't care goes to how he plays in football, man. And it especially worries me because I remember before he got drafted, he put out some comments and the comments like really annoyed a lot of people about like how much dedication he has to the game of football. And he can't tell me that it's super high, that whatever he said was taken out of context or whatever.
Yeah.
Because this is now year 2 of you stinking it up.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. You're just like a turnover machine to me, man. You can't
Hmm.
do the thing like I think his problem is he was great for the college game because like in the college game it's really hard to defend.
Yeah.
And it's a very high scoring uh game compared to the NFL. And so
Yeah.
whenever he throws it to a guy's pretty much open. In the NFL, you don't have guys that are open like that. You have to throw them open or throw with anticipation that they will be open. And
Hmm.
that's what I think he lacks is that type of trust and chemistry or whatever and the time that needs to be put in to have those things. So I until like I'm sure there's gonna be Jacksonville fans that feel differently. They're probably gonna say you're crazy, whatever. But I mean, if I'm crazy, then why is it that your team's losing? I don't have to watch
Yeah.
your team super close to know that there's there's a reason why you guys are still kind of catching L's. Comes down to your
Hmm.
quarterback, man. Like the really good ones, they win like almost right away. The really good ones.
Yeah. He's taking a long time to show that he can do that.
And he's supposed to be a generational quarterback. Remember?
Hmm.
Everybody
Yeah.
acted like he was the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah. Can walk on water,
Yeah.
but he's walking his way back to the bench after throwing in an interception.
uh
He just needs to cut his hair and be like, "New you, new year, new me."
so let me make some quick points with about Denver real quick.
Yeah.
Um kind of going to the conversation of quarterback holding a team back. Like I don't really know how well the head coach like how good he is at his job because outside of like the blunders that have been kind of like a meme with him with like the clock
Yeah.
management kind of stuff, um it doesn't help that like his quarterback is on a high horse and doesn't put in the time. He's another guy that's like he's more taking in the celebrityness of himself than him being a dedicated football player. So like him and Trevor are almost like this identical. They're just one plays for one team and the other one plays for the other team, man. One has
Yeah.
longer hair, the other one don't. One's a darker complexion, the other one's not. Um,
Yeah.
that's the only difference. Everything else is the damn same, though.
Both mentally unfit.
Yeah, that's what it feel like. At the end of the day, you just look at them as a quarterback to quarterback. They're kind of identical,
Mhm.
man. Um,
Yeah.
he he don't run like he used to, and he's not throwing like he used to. Like, look at this, man. I view this as a bright spot, which is why I don't understand why you're willing to trade Jerry Judy. Okay, with you having a quarterback who's not getting you the ball in the most ideal times, whenever you do
Yeah.
get the ball, you're trying to make something happen. You average 10 yards per reception.
Yeah.
That's really good, man. 6 for 63. That's amazing, bro. Imagine if he was being thrown really well. Like
Or
uh-huh.
if they had chemistry.
That yeah, exactly, man. That's what I'm
They
talking
have
about.
more chemistry, they would be a duo
It would be deadly.
to it would be a deadly duo,
And
man.
here's the other thing, man. Cortland Sutton, man. How come? I mean, I don't know if anything happened during the game because I didn't watch it. I don't know if
Yeah.
he got dinged up, but one reception, 13 yards. Cortland Sutton should be one of your better receivers. But
Yeah.
too often I'm seeing either one being kind of like, I don't know, it almost feels like a doghouse, but not like they're actually in a doghouse. You know, like when a player's in
Yeah.
the doghouse, they don't get thrown to, they don't get looked at, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But with like Russ, it's not that he has any ill feelings towards these guys. He's just being that like inept, you know,
Yeah.
like
Then you
he
got Greg Dulch over here, 4 catches for 87 yards, averaging 21 yards a catch.
yeah,
That's
but
that was some big plays right there.
yeah, he had to make something happen out of every catch, and I think that's what all of the receivers are doing. Is you got to try and make the most of whatever he's able to throw to you, because
Yeah.
he's not throwing the ball really well.
Yeah.
'Cause
With Cortland Sutton, I don't know if he was getting locked down or if he just wasn't there, or if it, like you said, if it he was in the doghouse or something. I don't know, but you would expect more production,
mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. Like what's going on with Cortland Sutton? Um, he he is averaging quite a bit of yards per catch. He's averaging 13 and a half yards um per reception, and he
Hmm.
has 454 um receiving yards for the season so far. So he's actually doing pretty damn good. Um but again, man, you got a quarterback that could be doing even better with him, and just is
Yeah.
not. Just is not, man. They're at like the bottom of the league when it comes to their offense.
Yeah.
I'm like curious to see some stats here. I don't know. I can't find him. Damn it! But you know, he's a good size, man. He's 6'4", and dude is like he's built like an ideal receiver. Like I want my receivers to be big receivers. I'm not a huge fan of the 5'10", 5'11" receivers, even a 6 foot receiver. I'm a big fan of 6'3" and up. Because
Yeah.
I think that that's pretty special and unique. Um, to have such a big athletic dude like that. And yeah, he's not being used to his capabilities, I think, man.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, man, cuz a lot of these guys aren't, because they haven't had a great quarterback on their roster these last few
Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah,
All
man.
right. All right, man. Let's just switch this on out, man, for something that happened yesterday. But before I do, I want to remind everybody to please like, subscribe, give us a comment. Let's talk about whatever the heck you want to talk about. You want to talk about NFL some more? We could talk NFL. But we're going to talk NBA. So if you want to talk NBA, talk it with us, man. Put it down in the comment section. We will answer anything that you want to talk about. But please like, comment, subscribe. It'll help with the algorithm if you at the very least like or comment. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, and make sure to hit the notification bell to, make sure that you guys are always aware of whenever we get on. Um, so now, with that being said, let's get on to what happened yesterday. As some of you guys may know, we are Sacramento Kings fans, and the Kings finally got their first dub of the season. And
Mm-hmm.
it was exciting, man, because uh, they did it on a very good Miami Heat team that is a well coached team, has a
And a
very good
physical team
culture,
at that.
very
Yeah.
physical. The high standards when it comes to like how they play and also their conditioning
Yeah.
and their attention to details and all that, like high standards. They don't allow just anybody to put on a Heat jersey. They go
Yeah.
through like rigorous uh interviews and stats and all, like dude, they do their homework on everybody. They have the most undrafted players on a team. That's insane. That the majority of their team is made up of undrafted guys. But yeah, Miami falls to the Kings 113 to 119. And it was a great first half to start with for the
Great
Kings.
first half. Yeah.
Ball was flying everywhere. And it felt like everything came with an assist.
Oh yeah.
Herder was bananas. Bananas.
Set. He had 7 threes,
7 of 8, man, from 3.
27 and 7 and 3. So he was dishing it just as much as he was shooting it. He had the most assists on the team that game, and it felt really good to have him back in the lineup because I know we
Yeah.
missed him the previous game before that. You
Hmm.
know him having to go out for his shoulder.
Yeah.
Um, but man, he really held it down that
And then
game.
you not only have to give it up to him, man, but also
The
your star player and De'Aaron Fox, man. This dude had a career type night. Not so much in the
big
point area, but rebounds.
double
Block,
double, big double double,
dude. The way he
man.
was playing defense, man, he got 2 blocks. He had that one on Tyler Hero. That dude, I was like, I
He had
gave
the
me
it was
goosebumps.
it was a block shot, and then he put D on him, and he got the push off foul, and the same
Yes,
play in the same events. I was like, De'Aaron stepped his defense up, and he can now be an offensive defensive threat
and
going forward.
we've we've seen a change in him this year.
Oh
Oh,
man,
his commitment to
big
defense,
time.
his commitment to defense is higher than it has ever been in his career.
Oh yeah,
And I remember when Mike Brown was introduced as the head coach of the Sacramento Kings, this dude challenged him. He said, "I want everybody to be a good defender," but he specifically said about De'Aaron Fox that the dude is capable of more and that he's seen more when this dude was in high school.
yeah. Because Mike Brown was a coach, and one of the basketball clinic things he would do,
Yeah.
and he coached De'Aaron, and he said in the post game interview for that game, he said back then De'Aaron was a good defender before he knew that he could be an offensive threat that he is. So now he changed to be an offensive threat. He's like, why don't we get back to the defender you used to be, and challenge him in that, and it really showed this game big time.
Yeah, big time, dude. He's had it's like every game he's getting that much better at playing the defense. And if he doesn't make an
Hmm.
all-star team this year, that's I think it'll mainly do because of team success, you know.
Yeah, if we're not at
But
a good record, or it that's the only reason.
but if you do it um the way Shaq always says it should be done, and it's are you putting up the numbers? Are you being like a dominant player
Hmm.
regardless of the team situation? Because in his mind, he's
Yeah.
like, he's like sometimes the organization is just ran badly, and you can't you can only do so much, and
Man, look
so
at this. Look at the stats right now. I mean, he's averaging 27, 28 points a game right now.
man,
Like,
yeah,
and he's averaging 35
he's
minutes.
just shy of 28, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised
like,
if this is a career high for him in rebounds with 7.2 a game.
yep.
Um, and then he's still trying to help facilitate the offense. It helps that you have a lot of players who can move the ball around, like how we just brought up how Herder had the most assists in the game.
Yep.
And it's crazy because he had the most points. He was the point leader and the assist leader in the same game.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, dude, this he's playing out of his mind. Um, he I don't know, dude. Like I don't think that he should miss being an all star if the Kings have not the best of records. Um,
Yeah.
because like a lot of things isn't taken in consideration, like the strength of the schedule early on, and also
Oh yeah.
how much better teams across the league have gotten better. Like
Yeah.
the NBA and the NFL are having a similar situation where it's like a lot more teams are even to each other than not. Like there's not that much difference in gap of talent.
Mhm. Hell
Um
yeah.
but yeah, dude, I'm liking everything that I'm seeing, dude. He's he's been amazing. What are some things that stood out to
Amazing.
you last night?
Some things just just to pick up on defense from all around, from Kevin Herter, from, you know, Harrison, even to Trey Lyles, bringing up Trey Lyles' name. He played a big role in that fourth quarter. He put in some big minutes and had some really good rebounds. And he had um I think one good block shot. He had a really good block shot that was just a really momentum changer to
Mhm.
really seal the deal for us. Um, but yeah, just everyone was playing good. Uh, I really I really like seeing Sabonis doing a lot better. Production wise. Yeah, he got in foul trouble. You know, but that's the Heat team. They like to draw fouls. They like to get you in foul trouble. But early on, seeing the offense kind of run through Sabonis as well was really good to see. Um, but yeah, I mean, we had trouble in that third quarter. Third quarters have always been a just this season have really been a low point.
Mhm.
Other than that, really good ball movement. You're starting to see the things that Coach Brown is talking about, cleaning up and, all this stuff. You're seeing it pay off now, you know. And he even mentioned in the post game interview, he mentioned that he kind of went with a smaller rotation, like you said should happen. He didn't go as deep into the bench that he did the last game.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of stuck with the guys that he wanted in rotation, and it worked out because when you do that, those same guys get a little bit more developed and playing together. They get that kind of, okay, we know how to play this to get this, this team together, and so it just makes for even better play. The defense side has stepped up. and a lot of good things moving forward. I really
So
hope that they take this they take this dub, build on it, build
yeah.
momentum, and keep going.
So, going back to what you were saying about the rotation, I mean, this is how the game was going, okay? So Sabonis fouled out, okay?
Hmm.
So 4 out of your 5 starters had 34 minutes or more of playing time.
Hmm.
So that just shows you the direction that they were trying to go to, because had it not been for, foul trouble, we probably wouldn't have seen anybody that wasn't like the main guys coming off the bench. Like,
Hmm.
we wouldn't have seen them get any minutes at all. Like KZ Agapala, I think he legit only played a few seconds. It didn't even add to a minute.
Yeah, no,
Um and then like Alex Lynn got 3 minutes. Terrence Davis got 5. So it would have been probably 3 or 4 dudes off the bench, and that's it, which is what I wanted to see in order to
yeah,
get things established. Because then when you bring guys from the bench, they know what is needed. They know, like, they have a more defined role and expectation of what is needed, because they have to continue to build on what they're doing during the game. So whether it's offensive tempo, or like how aggressive you are on defense, how aggressive you are trying to get the rebounds and stuff like that, like
yeah,
you have a better idea, because these the starters that need a breather need you to just do exactly what they were doing, and don't stray away from it. Don't play hero ball. Do what we were doing, because we weren't playing any hero ball. We were moving that thing around. Um, so so hopefully, for the next few games, Sabonis will get some luck on his side, because I feel like he's
he has
had
not had any good luck with the
I
foul calls.
yeah, dude. I think there's like possibly 2 fouls every game. That's like a
That
BS call.
should not be, yeah, should not be called. It
And
it, it and it
and
sucks.
yeah,
It
and
does.
like it puts him in early foul trouble, or it fouls him out completely from the game way too soon. He was fouled out really early in the game.
There
Um,
was there yeah there, he got to 5 and he had to sit
he had to
for
sit for a long
almost
time,
a whole third quarter. He sat.
and he couldn't work up that much of a lather. Got he got fouled out. But I want to get
Mhm,
back to how we were talking about De'Aaron real quick, because I'm looking
mhm.
at his stats. I know it's only 5 games, guys, but it's a big enough sample size to show the type of improvement he's made. His field goal percentage is the highest it's ever been. The highest that he's ever had it was 48%, but he's been kind of floating around the 45% marker. So he's at 55%, so 10% higher than any point in his career. 3 point percentage, 39.3%. Okay, the
Almost
best
40%, man.
the best he ever did was his sophomore year at 37%, but really he's been averaging at the 30% mark. So it's almost another 10% right there. Free throw percent, highest that it's ever been, 81%. He's been really at the 70% mark. Last year was his best year at 75%, but you know, all the other years it's really around 70%. So it's like 11% difference. And then rebounds, it's the highest that it's ever been. Again, uh, last year he averaged 3.9. Right now he's averaging 7.2. That's a huge difference, especially if you look at his rookie season. He averaged under 3 rebounds a game. That's
Yeah.
insane, man. That's a huge jump. Now assists, he's done better, but here's the difference: he has more capable teammates to help move that ball around. And then
Hmm.
also the other thing is, in the past when he had Bogey out there, or or Tyrese Halliburton, it really kind of it it made it difficult for him to move that ball around. At like some games he had high assists, and other games he would have like very low assists. So it was very up and down, bipolar looking numbers that averaged a certain way at the end of every year. So now block shots, he's almost averaging a full block a game. I expected to get to a full block a game because I feel like I almost see him block every game. Steals, now this is a little bit lower, but that's only because he's doing other things defensively, just trying to stay in front of his guy, possibly get them to commit a charge, like how
Or
you
just
brought up
have them
that
put
that
up a contested shot.
how you brought up that push off that happened on him.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he's not worried so much about stealing the ball from the guy that he's guarding. He's trying to be a lot smarter about it.
Yeah.
So, dude, and here's the crazy thing. He's been a phenomenal scorer his entire time with us, but I had no idea that when at the end of the year what he actually averaged, because I felt like I seen so many like high scoring games from him that this is actually his highest scoring year so far. He's almost
in the
averaging
first 5
28.
games.
He's almost averaging 28 points, 27.8, and the highest that it ever was 2 years ago at 25. And that's a big difference. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It's a huge difference, especially if you're trying to gain the respect of referees to give you the foul calls that you normally wouldn't get. Because, like, in order to get the kind of calls that, like, a LeBron James gets, that a James Harden gets, whatever big name you can think of, if you want to get those calls, you have to be balling your ass off. Like, you have to. And
yeah, you have to.
And that's exactly what he's doing, man. He's balling out of his mind. This dude is doing so good. And, ain't it a damn shame that so many fans last year wanted his ass gone? I would say the majority of the fans that would speak on social media platforms and call into different podcasts and all that, they said that this dude was trash and he needed to go. He's a bust. He's whatever you could think of, but the dude is a scrub and he needed to go away. They were
Shut
over
your
here.
mouth.
They were
Shut
over
your
here
mouth.
sounding like TLC. I'm talking about no scrubs, and he was a scrub. Get out of here.
Where you at?
I know it's
Sit
only
quiet.
5 games.
Sit quiet.
I know it's only 5 games, but have you seen him like waver at all from game to game? No.
Oh, man.
That's why even with a small sample size, you can clearly see that this dude is having a phenomenal year.
This game against the Heat, he only scored 17 points, but he made up in defense and rebounds
Yes.
this game. Okay? All the other games, first game, 33 points. Next game, 36 points, 26, 27. Like, he is being consistent.
Not only consistent, but what do you always hear broadcast people say and analysts say? They say about if you're not scoring like a bunch of points and you're kind of having a bit of an off night offensively, what do they tell you? They say find a way to affect the game in other ways. Effective defense,
yes.
Rebounding, moving that ball around, hustle, 50-50 balls, all that. They say do all that, and that's what De'Aaron is doing. He got challenged by Mike Brown to be better than what he's ever been in his entire professional career, even collegiate career. He said you were better in high school, and he's done it in 5 games. But we had these fans last year. We mentioned it last time. We mentioned it. We said that we have some of the most dramatic fans in the NBA. They used to be so smart
It,
and reasonable and all that kind of stuff, but
now they love you one day, hate you another day.
yeah,
Stupid, man. Trust the process right now. That's what I'm saying, man. Trust the process, and this team is gonna come out fighting every game. They play the defense they're supposed to be playing. They play the offense the way they're supposed to be playing it. They're gonna win more games than they lose. I guarantee.
that don't feel like a bet you would lose, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're gonna be in it to win it more times than not. And if they do have a losing record, it doesn't mean that your year is completely over because play-in you don't need to have a winning record.
Mm-hmm.
Play-in every team has a losing record. So you just need to continue to build on what you're building on. I think Mike Brown realizes what I had already realized, smaller rotation. You do that, and little by little, because this is a process, like you said, trust the process. Is it a sprint or is it a marathon, man? It's a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to get everything you want your first year. Culture change does not happen in a few games. It happens over an entire season. It happens over 2 off seasons. It happens sometimes it happens a little longer than one full season. Sometimes it takes 2 full seasons and 3 off seasons. You need to look at your team, see that youth is on your side, and you have a bright future. You have something where you can be in it more times than not. And I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA also did away with um 8 teams per conference makes it to the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if they only went by best 16 teams and still
That's
have the
yeah.
play-in tournament, which would then, like, I guess you would say is 4 teams, because like you have 2 teams from the West, 2 teams from the East, but you do it like that, and it gives your team extra opportunity to make the playoffs. Because I don't care what anybody says, even though like the East has gotten better, I still view them as the more inferior conference because
Mm-hmm.
we have so much talent in the West that the record doesn't uh really define like how good that team really is. Because had they played against more of the Eastern Conference teams, they would have a better record. But we have to play
Yeah.
each other 4 times a year. It's not like the NFL where, you only play people in your own division multiple times. You play the entire conference equal amount of times. It's 4 times. And so then it's kind of like you put division out of there because divisions don't really matter. It's all about your record. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised in the next few years if one of the changes is uh do away with conference. Let's make it all about records.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do that, like I said, you have an even brighter future. But even if they don't,
Oh yeah.
your future's still bright. Keegan
Yeah, of
Murray,
course.
Keegan Murray got the luxury that De'Aaron, Tyrese, um, Davion, and hell, even go back to DeMarcus Cousins. He's getting a luxury that they never got. They never got to start their rookie season like in the freaking beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It was always towards the very end that they ever got starts.
Yeah.
That tells you that
Keegan
tells you how special that kid is, man.
Keegan is special in so many ways. You know, we've said it before. This kid brings a cool calmness demeanor to the game, and he sees the game at a high level, as a high level vet would see it. You know,
He
yeah,
he
there's some
simplifies it.
rookie mistakes there. You know, maybe noticing when he's gonna get baited into a foul or something like that. You know, that's just things you gotta learn when you're in the when you get into the league for a while. But he is. I'm gonna bet he wins rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Like like I would take that bet because I think he's better than all the other rookies right now. He we compared him to uh Tim Duncan, how Tim Duncan was, and he's just so calm and he just sees the game in slow motion, basically. Because when you see Keegan play, he almost looks like he's moving in slow motion. He's so fluid with it
He's
that
fluid and
it
he just simplifies everything, man. That's he also makes it look easy.
simplifies. Yeah, he makes it. Yeah, exactly. He makes it look easy. It's just really fun to see him play and to see the luxury he has, and even having a solid team around him as well to
Yeah.
play with, to play off of, to play with. It's gonna be really fun to see where this team goes. And man, I'm gonna say it now, and I know you are gonna be the way too, man. If we have a good season, man, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna
Oh
cry,
man.
man. It's because
What
it's being a Kings fan for so long, man. You just you get it when it if it happens, man, you just get emotional, you know. So
if you were born in right at 2000, you weren't old enough to know what it was like to have playoff basketball. Even if you were still a little kid whose parents like were into basketball and had you watching, you weren't old enough to appreciate it.
yeah.
I I'm an old dude. The last time they were in the playoffs was my senior year of high school. So I'm definitely old enough to have appreciated those players and just tell you everything about them and what it was like to watch them and the excitement that they brought. Dude, we we made everybody tune in. Not
Oh yeah.
not one fan base except for maybe the Lakers fan base disliked us. Every team every fan base enjoyed watching the way we played. We didn't showboat, even though like the passes were like flashy and just beautiful to watch. I remember the NBA putting out a statement that wished and hoped that the league would look like the way the Kings played. They said that's the future. And what did you get out of it? You got the Steve Nash Suns. You got the Warriors of today.
Oh yeah.
Steve Kerr will tell you that he emulated a lot, if not most, of what he saw Sacramento do back in their heyday, with the way they just conducted themselves as a team, and the way they did everything offensively and real talk defensively too, because
Oh yeah.
they didn't have like some super shot blocker. Draymond Green, last I checked, isn't some crazy shot blocker. He has to work with what he has.
Oh yeah.
He has to take charges and sometimes sell the foul. That's exactly what Vladi did. That's exactly what, other dudes would do on the
Vladi
team.
was a Vladi was a monster at times, man. I was young, But I remember those were like some of my earliest, fondest memories as a young sports fan.
Yeah.
You know, I remember just being the happiest kid, just going to a game and just having a good grand old time, man. Those are my fondest memories, you know.
Yeah, dude. And let's see. I'm gonna do the math real quick. So if you're 16 right now, you've never experienced at all. If you're 15, for sure, you never, ever in your life uh, experienced a winning Kings team and what that was like in Sacramento. And not even just in Sacramento. Whenever they traveled, people came out to watch them. They didn't care about their own team. They were
Yeah,
like, we're about to watch something magical. That's what's crazy, man.
that's
And
why they're called the greatest five that never won a championship.
yeah, and I'm not
And it's
gonna.
not even just the greatest five. There was other players behind them who were great as well.
Yeah,
Coming off the bench and stuff. So
guys that could have started.
it's the greatest team that never won a championship, I would say.
Um,
But man,
yeah, dude. I'm not gonna like say that the Kings have potential to be like that, but what they do have a potential of is being darlings of the league again. And because like already people say all the time that they part of their favorite thing about having like league pass is being able to tune into the Kings because they like the fast pacedness and
mhm,
all that. So um we're still a team that other fan bases like to watch when their team's not playing, and I think that can be continued with if they go into the direction that Coach Mike Brown is trying to lead them to, which is we're gonna be fast paced with everything. It's attack, attack, attack. We're attacking on defense. We're attacking on rebounds, attacking on the 50-50 stuff, the effort plays. We're attacking with our passes. We're attacking with everything. It's all about attacks and just being
definitely.
unrelenting. And if we can achieve that, then the league is going to be in trouble. That we have a team that could be capable of doing that. Now, I don't know like how sustainable that is. You might never win a championship like burning yourself out like that, but it'll still be fun to watch
Oh yeah.
because you know that this team wouldn't be going down without a fight.
Oh yeah.
But
Never to that point you could never
yeah,
count them out. Even right now, all of our games have been mostly close. Can't count
yeah,
us out of any game.
yeah. We've given
Unless
teams
unless
scares.
unless we go in unless we go into a game and just completely blow it from the get go, then that's when you can count us out. But going in to tip off, who knows what could happen?
Definitely. Um, it's crazy, man. Lakers got a dub too now. So they were for a second.
Wow.
They were for a
Wow,
second
what?
that yeah,
They won a game?
they won a game. They were
Wow.
for a second the only team without a win.
They beat
Um,
the Nuggets
but they
too.
beat the
Wow.
Nuggets. Yeah.
Wow.
Still doing the most by making LeBron play so many minutes, but they pulled out the dub.
Damn. Him
but hey,
and Anthony Davis
but hey,
played
man,
37 and 35 minutes.
Russ looked like he had a more efficient game. I gotta like
18 and 8 and 8 off the bench.
look
32
up,
minutes.
I want to look up what possible. He was plus 18.
Mm,
There you go, man. He's actually doing something, man. He limited the turnovers to 3. That's not a bad ratio, 8 to 3.
yeah,
Um, he's not over here stat chasing, going for like rebounds and stuff, because that's also sometimes I feel like that's some of his problem right there is he's trying to average that triple double every season. And like,
yeah,
sometimes we need you to do less, play more within yourself. And
definitely,
and
definitely.
and it looks like they're also following kind of what I said that the Kings needed to do, which is have a smaller lineup, because like Kendrick Nunn has been a disappointment on their team, and they kept giving him heavy minutes, man. They limited him to just 3. Um, but yeah, man, like I'm shocked. I didn't expect them to pull out a dub,
Yeah.
but just goes to show what I always say: can't count on a Canadian to do nothing right.
uh,
That should have been light work for Jamal Murray, but because of his handicap being Canadian, he was
yeah.
inefficient. 9 for 21. It should have been light
Dang.
work. Come on, man. Ain't nobody on the damn Lakers could have guarded you other than Patrick Beverly, barely, kinda.
Barely. Man,
Man, Canadian let
Jokic,
down Jokic.
he had a great game. Dang.
Great game, dude. 14
23
rebounds,
and 4. Woo.
6 assists, 2 blocks. Didn't commit a single foul. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. We need to become a winning team. We need to separate ourselves with this whole fouling too much, because we do that,
Yeah.
we start to lose that reputation of a team that fouls too much. Because I think that's also what adds to us not receiving the favorable calls. It's not just because
Yeah.
we don't have like the superstars. It's also because they kind of look at us and they see, hey, these guys average a lot of fouls. So I gotta like stay on top of that. I can't let anything slip by me. I gotta
So
call it by the book.
they're gonna call every little thing.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
gonna like blow the whistle on dudes who are flopping, but not like call it out on them for flopping, call it out on us because they're like, we have to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's not that they flopped, it's that this team averages so many fouls per game, especially Domantas Sabonis. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, come on, man. Let my
They're gonna
European dude get the same call as Jokic, man.
uh, yeah, because they as of lately the refs have been they've been listening to a lot of Too Short. Blow the whistle. Blow
You
the
know, no,
whistle.
you know what's crazy, man. Normally, and you heard me. You've gone to a Kings game with me. When I yell at the refs, I'm always calling for fouls, and I'm always like, "Why are you allergic to the whistle, man?
Yeah.
You can't be a ref and be allergic to the whistle." Now I kind of wish that they had received that allergy instead of taking Claritin or whatever the
Yeah.
hell it was.
Yeah, man.
Because you know what they
Nah,
need to do. They need to do something else, because now they need clear eye, because they're
because I
itchy
can't
watery
see.
eyes. They can't see nothing, man. They seen the wrong thing. They seen a completely different game than I am.
Yeah, man. I feel like we'll get better. It's just it's gonna take a little time to get that kind of treatment, you know.
Yeah.
Once we start having a few games where we don't get in so much foul trouble, they're gonna be like, okay, all right, then maybe start seeing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um. So before we end the podcast, man, I figure we should switch it up with something, man.
What's up?
Make ourselves a little bit more enticing to the people who are watching this, man. Uh, you know, technically Halloween right now. It's midnight over here.
Happy Hallows Eve or
So
Happy Halloween.
so with Halloween, man, first off, let's talk about what's the goat candy to be getting if you're trick or treating. What's the goat?
Oh, the goated man. There's a few that you can pick from. Man, the goat candy.
How
You
about this?
talking personally or just
Uh,
overall?
how about both? But before you do that, how about you answer what's the least goated candy that you could get?
The least goated candy?
Like you don't look forward to it. Like when you see somebody give that to you, you're like, come on, man.
uh if anybody's handing out popcorn.
That ain't candy though, man. But
But
yeah,
he-
no, for
he
sure. You
hand
know,
it out.
bruh, that
Hand it out, man. Little baggies of popcorn.
that or try to give you
Man.
fruit.
Get that. Give me an apple one time, man. Get out of here with that nonsense. Nah, but the candy, like if we're talking like candy, I never really liked nerds or anything like that. You know, I always was like, toss them. You know,
For me, it's a candy corn.
candy corn. See, I like candy corn a
See,
little bit more than
so
nerds,
you a
but they were at
weirdo.
least Nah, they.
And
I can only have a couple though. They were
I'm
overpowering.
not a big fan of sweethearts anymore. When I was a kid, I liked
Yeah,
them, but
like the sweet tarts or the Smarties.
huh?
Remember
No,
when it had little Smarties?
yeah, I don't know.
The sweet,
I just
not the
can't.
same thing.
I don't like the chalky texture.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my least favorite.
Oh, Tootsie Rolls.
Nerds.
I'm not a fan of Tootsie Rolls like that.
Yeah, they're kind of basic.
Yeah. When I see someone go get those kinds of candies, I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you, man?
You
What?
cheap ass.
Yeah, that's exactly you damn cheapskate, bro. You like that uncle from Home Alone that don't want to pay for nothing. Man, you probably got that from a food closet at a church.
I will say, there's goated candies, but then there's those surprisingly goated candies. You know those little strawberry ones? That was like the wrapper was like a strawberry.
You talking about the
green
hard
tip.
candy? You talking about
It's like a hard, but like in the soft is in the middle is a
I
soft.
I don't remember it being soft in the middle, but I remember
No?
I remember a packaging of like a strawberry looking thing.
Looked
but-
like a strawberry, you know, like those ones were good,
yeah.
but they were surprised. They were like a generic kind of candy. That and like butterscotches, like those were, you know, the surprise goated ones for me.
Sometimes those caramel square things.
Oh, like the Weathers caramel thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes like it really hits when it like your body's like kind of craving it and you didn't even realize it.
Or if you got the green apple caramel lollipops. Oh man, you ever had those?
Yeah, but I wasn't really into it, man. I'm not a green apple kind of
Nah.
person.
Oh, I like those. Those ones were goated.
Um,
So let's get to the most goated.
most goated. Okay, so I think the most goated is when you get like Kit Kat. Like I think Kit Kat and Reese's Reese's cups. Those
Yeah.
are probably like the goated, and not just for myself. I feel like a lot of people probably feel that way. As
Oh yeah,
those two,
for sure.
and
For
then
sure.
and then
I
like
think-
honorable mention, Twix.
Twix and like a Snickers bar. That's about it.
Yeah.
Those are the two
Those
right
are-
behind it.
Those are like the top four.
The
But
four
you know,
founding
if
fathers of candy.
but if you went to like a house that just decided to go all out and really give back to the
Oh,
community,
man.
they would give you the king size stuff or
King size. Just
you would
regular
get
size.
what's that chocolate called? You know, the ones that come in a gold wrapper, and you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the Ghirardelli chocolate squares.
No. I'm talking about the ones that are like a ball, and they
Oh, the Ferrero Rocher.
yeah.
That's your favorite candy. I
I
know
know that's my favorite, but I'm saying
that.
but those are expensive.
Or like the Lindell truffles, those ones too.
Yeah, but like those are expensive, and if you went to a
Hmm.
house that decided I want to be real charitable, I want to really give back to these kids. When those types of houses do that, man, they just like they made my whole night.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those are the go-to areas. Then you go there every year.
Yeah.
You travel out of your neighborhood to go to their neighborhood to trick or treat. Yeah, man.
If you had to watch a movie that you say is really gonna scare you for Halloween, I'm not saying a traditional Halloween movie or anything like that. Like something that, like, you know how like in Christmas it's like tradition to watch certain movies. It makes you feel
I
like
mean,
it's Christmas.
I could already tell you Halloween tradition movies. Obviously, is Halloween.
Yeah.
Like that's
But
the number one.
I'm saying getting away from that stuff. I'm saying like you really
Just
want
scary.
scary. You really want to like scare the crap out of you and the people you're hanging out with.
I always like um one of my favorites that scared me was the movie called Sinister
Oh
with
yeah, man.
Ethan Hawke.
I was
That was a
never.
good movie.
It's good, but like I'm not into it though. Like it doesn't scare me,
Yeah,
but I don't feel like it has much depth to it. Like I don't know, man.
yeah.
Like
There's,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
there's
how
not
that
a little.
even how did that person ever come about? That's I've never gotten that answer, man. I want to
I
know where
don't
this
know,
fool
man. He
comes
just
from.
showed up.
Like
A
he,
realm of some sort.
but like he couldn't have like been around for all time in that damn trench coat or whatever it was. Like he wasn't doing that in the freaking
It was
Roman
in a
times.
suit, man.
He
He was
wasn't.
in a suit.
He wasn't wearing that get up when he saw Spartans and stuff. Like, so where did he start? Did he start in the
I
modern
don't know,
era,
man.
and this fool just
Yeah, I
decided
guess.
he was gonna haunt people for the rest of his existence? Like, that's the thing that's why I don't like it, because I need to know the story behind it, man. I need to know the creation of it or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a good scare, any of the Conjuring universe
Yeah,
is really good. Any Annabelle, any of the Conjuring movies are really good.
Exorcist.
Exorcist is the original, really,
Oh
really
my
good.
gosh.
Throwback. That movie still scares me to
Really,
this
and
day, man.
almost any of the Exorcist movies, man, they could
Yeah.
really freak you out. And I know what scares
And if
you
you're
big time. Like, remember, you had to have the guts. You had to have me go with you in order for you to watch it, and that was The Grudge. Like,
yeah, man. I've never liked that movie.
because
That
you were little
chick
when it
from The
came out.
Grudge. I was, and I was forced to watch it because I had two older sisters. Man, they forced me to watch
Hey,
that movie, and it
at least you didn't.
terrified
At
me,
least you didn't
man.
have it as bad as me, man. When I remember when I was a little kid, I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. My uncles locked me in a room and forced me to watch Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
So I was afraid to sleep. So for like hella days,
that
I was awake because this dude
that's
goes into
another
your
good
dreams.
movie.
And
Yeah,
let me tell you, man, like they didn't just like play one of the Nightmare on Elm Street. They played like multiple of them. Some of them were in Spanish, and let me tell you, the Spanish uh dub of it, the voice actor had a much deeper tone to his voice, so it sounded more demonic. So
damn, bro.
It scared the hell out of me, bro. It was like a full day of watching these movies. That they forced me to watch that shit.
Yeah. Yeesh.
And they had it on full blast and everything. Like, so they know that if I try to cut it out, they were gonna turn it back on. So I was tortured on purpose for a day.
Tch, damn.
But
Been there.
but no, I feel you on the like the first Grudge. Like
Oh
I was a
yeah.
teenager when it came out, but it still scared me. Like I was afraid to like look under my blankets. I had to like really
I
tuck
mean,
myself in.
you can even go back to the original Japanese version because there's a Japanese
Yeah,
one
the Japanese
that
one.
the story originates from, and then they made it an American movie, which
Dude,
was the scariest one.
yeah, because like to me, the Japanese one just added like goriness to it or whatever. Like I remember there
Yeah.
being blood to it, and like the
Mm.
American one didn't have that. It was more jump scare and
And
claustrophobic
haunting
and
and
stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
yeah.
like so that was like the difference between the two because they didn't try to like give you the heebie-jeebies like the American
Yeah.
one did. Um,
It gives me the heebie-jeebies even just thinking about it. Where
yeah,
she starts clicking and
I was about to
going
say,
down like, oh
oh,
man.
dude, hey, The Ring, they did
The
the
Ring
same
2
thing,
is yeah, that's a movie because I thought it was the same movie.
dude.
I
Just
thought it
see,
was The Grudge as well.
just seeing that videotape that has like a bunch of nothing was
Oh
like
yeah.
kind of creepy in its own way. You,
Yeah.
like I wanted to fast forward through it just because like it was uncomfortable, like that weird
Mm-hmm.
black and white video of like some weird stuff like flies and food
Yeah.
going bad or something. I don't remember what it was. It was just like
Yeah.
weird stuff. It was just
But there are
creepy.
yeah, there are some movies that aren't scary, but I like to watch around Halloween time. Or the scary movies are hilarious.
um so would you recommend the new Halloween movie? You and I both seen it. Without giving out
Yeah.
spoilers for those who haven't watched it, do you recommend it or do you recommend just wait for it to come out to watch it?
I mean, if you are a fan of the franchise, whether it, be all the older movies, how it is, or even if you just like the the timeline that David Gordon Green had put out, you know, the 2018 Halloween, technically H40, and then Halloween Kills and then Halloween Ends. If you just like that, it's worth a watch, you know. Um do I think they could have done better? Yes. Could they have done worse? Yes. So it's kind of just in the middle. It's a little bit of a weird story, but it's an okay watch. It's supposedly the final movie. So I mean, you got to watch it just to watch it. I enjoyed it just being a fan, I like seeing the subtle hints to previous movies that they do, you know, and just the and just the cinematography that they do very well. That David Gordon Green does very well, um, in the movie. It's good. A lot of people dissing it, saying is so bad to send off Michael Myers like that, but it's it's not bad. It's not as bad as they say. I just think those are like the hardcore purists,
Gotcha.
Me just being a fan, like I enjoyed it.
For me, I feel like if you have what was it, Peacock?
Yeah, Peacock.
If you have Peacock, watch it that way. Because like to me, like part of the like enticing thing about going to the movie theater isn't just, you know, the popcorn and soda, candy, whatever. It's like the effect of being in the movie theater. So the surround sound that they got, and
Yeah.
also being in the same theater as other people that could, like, you know, make the experience more enjoyable. Because like it's fun when people are excited and as scared as you are, if it's a horror movie or if it's like, you know, one of the superhero movies, you know, that people are pumped and clapping and part of the clan of woo, you know, just going woo every time that something cool happens.
Yeah.
um this movie to me doesn't add any of that, but it's, I'd definitely say, you know, it's worth a watch. It's not gonna be like a time, like a waste of time waste or whatever, a waste of time. Um, but it is a time waster as far as like it gives you something to do. But I mean, you can still go watch it in the movie theater. Like I don't think you'll feel cheated out of your money unless you're gonna be, you know, nitpicky about how certain directions of the movie went. Um, but if you just go purely for entertainment value and to see what it could possibly be the very last Halloween movie, as far as from that timeline, that universe, not like the Rob Zombie one. Um,
Yeah.
if you're if if you're, you know, interested in seeing that, it's still worth a watch in the movie theater. Um, it kind of just comes down to you. Would you rather just be at home, or do you want the whole experience? Um, so whatever you guys choose to do, I don't think you're gonna uh you know, regret it. Ha.
And if you have seen it, let us know what you thought about it. Comment down
Yeah.
below.
Well,
What do you think? You think it's a bit?
don't spoil the movie for anybody though, man. Just let us know. Did you like it? Was it worth? How do you feel? Did you
Yeah.
agree with anything
Yeah.
that we said? Do you disagree?
Exactly.
But try
Because
to
if
keep it
you
spoiler
agree
free.
with that, then you can agree with us on all the other topics we talk about.
And let us know what's your goated candy and what is the candy you least look forward to. And what's your Halloween go-to movie and or uh the scariest movie you've ever seen, you know? Um but yeah, let us know, man. It doesn't always have to be about sports. It could be about a plethora of things, man.
We just
Uh
like to talk about things.
yeah.
Sports is just being a common ground,
Yep. Um but yeah, man, I think we covered everything. What you think?
I think we had a good time, man. A lot of
All
key
right.
points to talk about.
All right, man. Well, before I let us go, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you do subscribe. Uh, and if you don't want to do any of that, uh, I mean, at least tell us off in the
Yeah,
comment section. That helps
I
with the
appreciate
algorithm.
that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
It helps with the algorithm. Or if you know somebody who would enjoy what we do, um,
Yeah,
you know, put them onto us, man. But
yeah.
we thank everybody for watching, and happy Halloween to everybody.
Everybody be safe.
Be safe
Check
out
your
there.
candy.
Check
You
your
never know what
candy.
you'll find.
Yeah, check your candy, not just for the BS candy, but like if anybody tries to mess with it, you know, you still gotta. I think it's still a thing with the razor blade thing. I think I always hear about it every year.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
know, uh, yeah, make sure you go through your kids' candies. If you're a kid yourself, uh, go through it very good, or let an adult help you out. Um, but yeah, man, I hope everybody has a great time, is safe, and yeah, man, we hope you guys have a happy Halloween.
yeah.
Uh,
And we'll see you in the midweek.
yeah, man. Uh, I guess this is deuces.